Another short shot.
What's up, y'all? We're back again, building better DJs. Mm-hmm. What's up, y'all? Just before we get into it, of course, remember our record pool at beatjunkies.com, our online school, beatjunkies.tv, and everything about our school here in Glendale, the Beat Junkies 2 Sound, beatjunkiesound.com.
Yes, yes.
And as you can see, we're back.
Yes.
With an amazing guest. Yes, we're having guests on the podcast now.
This is the man right here, though.
Yes.
You guys don't even understand what the fuck is going down right now.
But you about to.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man. You guys are pumping me up.
Tony,
I just gotta say,
pump you up enough, man.
No, man, seriously.
Tony G, the man, the myth,
the legendary.
Yes,
Tony
the man
G is in the house. On
the KDAY Mixmaster.
What?
Man.
Yes.
Man, this is a beautiful place.
Thanks,
yeah, it's your first time to the school, right?
First time. This is beautiful. The layout, all the turntables. This is a DJ's dream right here.
Yeah,
this
man. We've been working hard on it, man.
That means everything coming from you, Tony.
Yes.
People, you got to understand, the Beat Junkies is pretty much modeled off after the KDAY Mixmasters.
For sure.
That's pretty much. And this is the man that pretty much...
This is our father.
Yeah.
Father to our
y'all
styles.
Continued it on a different level, though. I mean, what we did was just a foundation, but the level that the Beat Junkies were able to take DJing wasn't something that we could only do what we could do. You know what I'm saying? Joe, M-Walk, Julio, you got to remember, Ralph Fam, they were DJing with artists just going out there and showing what they could do. But as a unit, we weren't able to do anything as a unit. You guys did the unit, which is really hard to maintain something like that long.
Well, you guys paved a lot of the way for a lot of the, for all of us out here on the West Coast and inadvertently just all over the world, Tony, for real. The Mixmasters, really influenced us big time.
Man, they were dope. All of them were dope.
Yeah.
Can you break down who are in the KDAY Mixmasters officially?
Oh, I'm gonna try. So, me, Bobcat, and Dre.
With the first three.
As in Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre.
Yes.
Wow. So, he was with Lonzo doing Wrecking Crew stuff, so he wasn't going to be in our thing. Mm-hmm. He just couldn't. He was already doing his stuff with Yella, and Yella was doing a lot of the DJing in the shows because Dre was trying to do beats and stuff. Mm. And we didn't really do anything together at that time. Mm. So when Dre stayed with Wrecking Crew, at that same time Uncle Jams wanted to do a show, and Wrecking Crew and Uncle Jams did not, it was oil and vinegar at that time. So they were trying to do their show, and Uncle Jam, Roger, rest in peace, Roger Clayton was in there trying to get his show for what they were doing, and Greg was going to do whatever he wanted to do anyway.
And that's Greg Mack.
Greg Mack,
right.
And that's the Mixmaster thing.
Mm-hmm. What year was this?
I think it was 84.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So that's where that was going. And then when Dre couldn't be a part of that, Gem and Gemini came in. So Bobcat decided he didn't want to do Mixmaster stuff because he had some bomb hit records he was working on for LL and people. Right. So he's Ghost, and then it was just Gemini and myself.
Mm. So that's why I was telling you earlier off the air that I used to always hear you or Gem and Gemini on the air all the time.
We were the only ones on the air. Bobcat, I think he only mixed on the air maybe once with us, if that, because he was part of Uncle Jam's, but at the same time, he was already moving on to production and doing other stuff.
Well, because I do remember the initial show when it played. It was as Chalk said, it was you and Gemini, and then they played Dre's mix too as well.
But Dre would do his mixes with Antoine, with Yella and them.
Right.
and they would do their thing because they used the 4 tracks, kind of what you heard the Rhodium tapes thing. That was their thing. That's what they were known for. So they weren't going to step down and try to do a live mix.
Right.
Especially with me on there, you don't want to do that.
They didn't want that.
No.
You don't want to do that. You need to go record that.
Yeah.
Put your mix on the radio. It's real talk. It is what it
No.
is.
Hey,
You know?
you're for real, for real.
Man, them guys were dope. Yella and Dre. Dre was dope because he was more of the cutter. Yella was incredible DJ, mixing and like his knowledge of songs and music.
He could keep the party rocking.
He just knew how. And then Dre was, Dre was dope. He had his thing, but Yella seemed to me like he was the dude that just had the big knowledge and could focus. Dre was the young dude trying to cut and
Yeah, he was trying to get busy.
busy.
Yeah.
And, busy and, make beats and, a lot of stuff. He was trying to do stuff.
Tony, I want to kind of bring it back a little bit and just talk about you more in particular. We're privileged enough here in LA to understand what you mean to the DJ community, but I want the world to really understand, because as far as I've understood, you're the fucking man, Tony. I mean, as far as our style of DJing, as far as talking breaks and beats, like like the cultural stuff we were talking about understanding how to do doubles and flipping doubles, and it seems as if
working
early
it out
on,
mathematically.
right?
Yeah.
But it seems as if you might have been one of the earliest, if not the first ones, to bring this style to Los Angeles.
Well, definitely, yeah. Listen, until you saw Grandmaster Flash on Wild Style go, God Made Me Funky,
Right.
Once he did that, right? All the DJs wanted to try to figure out,
Right.
and they were seeing what he was doing. If you weren't from the East Coast, you never saw that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I know when I first saw that, I didn't even know what that record was at all.
So, right. Basically, you pretty much answer where I was going of everything. So, yeah. So when I got into the DJing part and I saw that, and I had seen that already. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew where that was.
You'd already experienced it, yeah.
In my mind, it was a matter of once my buddy Hen told me, yo, bro, you need to mix it with the fader. Then I comprehended why it was easy for him to do that. See, when I saw Flash do it, I didn't even pay attention to if crossfader or not, because I didn't even know what the mixer was. It was irrelevant to me. I always saw DJs do this and blend and mix, and I thought they was just doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So of course I knew DJs. It was DJing. My brother was a DJ when I was a little kid, so I knew what that was.
Right.
Playing the record on
Right.
the thing. So that was all irrelevant in my life until I decided to do that. I want to do not just mixing, I want to do that.
Yeah.
So
I want an MC and I want to do that. Right.
Right.
So you originally off air, you were telling us you originally came from your family came from New York.
From Miami, I had just got here.
Right.
From New York to Miami, Miami to here. So New York and Miami was my back and forth.
And then were you during that time? Were you knowing about hip hop, or is that like till later on?
No, when I got here, nobody knew hip hop. There was no hip hop. Not for me. I'm saying like the world in general. That was only contained in
the East
Coast.
Yeah.
New
But
York.
you get here to
Jersey.
LA, it's 78, 79 or something like that.
Yeah, there's no. We thought, what's your name? The hip hop, the hippie. I mean, that was like rap, and everybody just memorized that one song. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Blondie.
No,
Rapper's
Rapper's
Delight.
Delight.
Oh, Rapper's Delight.
And then you heard Tina Marie kill it. Square Biz.
Square Biz, yeah.
So that was just like, ooh, and then Buffalo Gal.
Malcolm McLaren.
Then, those were the records that, and then Boogie in Your Butt, because that was probably one of the first rap records played on FM radio on K-Rock in California that I ever heard. First time I ever heard a rap record on FM was on K-Rock, the new wave station.
Right.
On the mix, and it Boogie in Your Butt. Put a B in your butt. And Huevo and some of the raw rap stuff that was coming from the East Coast that wasn't raw. It was records that were like the cool scene for this dance and that dance you heard about. And that station, K-Rock.
Interesting.
I didn't hear, there was no other station playing no rap music,
Right.
until Roxanne came out.
Yeah.
Or Captain Rap, of course. That's what
Bad
you heard on
times.
KGFJ.
Yeah.
I guess KDAY. I could only know about KDAY from when I got there. I never heard of KDAY. I never heard KDAY. I didn't know anything about KDAY or what it was about till the day I went there
Right.
to be a mixmaster.
So before then, you were just mobile DJing with your cousin.
Yeah, but my buddies,
Your buddies, your crew.
mobile DJ and playing in a heavy metal band.
Right.
You're
You're playing drums at the time, you're
Yeah.
telling us. So at what point before, I mean, you were getting good. People, it was obvious, like, dang, I'm nice at this, right? At a certain point to get up to going to KDAY, right?
Yeah, I didn't go to KDAY. I mean, I just wanted to get nice because my boys already were trying to do their thing. I just had the ability to figure it out faster than the musically inclined to be able to mix records that were harmonically fit to mix, understand where the break was, know the changes, understand the theory of the music a little bit.
Yeah.
Enough to help me say, wow, if I was mixing, this would sound good with this, and this will, like anybody else. You were doing with the cassette deck pausing, trying to catch the beat, and wait all day for the song to try to catch the other part of whatever song and try to get it spliced on beat.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
much.
you attribute that a lot to your drumming, to your drumming
Yeah,
experience,
just
for
the
sure.
I think music, everybody's music, but I just had an internal clock that I always worked on as a kid because I had musicians in my home all the time, or singers, and my dad was a singer. Nino played guitar and sang all day, and maracas, and I had to be, disciplined. If you're going to touch something, you had to have the discipline to do it,
Right.
or don't do it.
And you took that same mentality to the turntables.
The same one as playing drums to the same one as doing turntables. I got in a heavy metal band, as I was telling Rhett, was the drummer didn't show up for rehearsal. They needed a drummer, and I lied. I said I was a drummer. I wasn't. I didn't even own a drum set. I went. I knew the songs by heart because I had drumsticks from playing in school when I was a kid, and I always did that. And I used to practice on the bed, and I tried out, I made the band, and I was a drummer for the band without a drum set. So the guy wanted his drum set back. Then I had to scramble. My dad's friend had a old Ludwig in his garage that he had bought for his son, never used it, and gave it to me. And then now I had a drum set, which I broke, and I used those pot planners to put the pots in. And I used to put my tom on that because I ain't had no money to buy anything else.
Yeah.
So that's what I used for a long time.
So this
we
is
got the
like
loop.
in high school.
79.
Yeah, you're in a metal band.
Yeah.
You're DJing at the same time.
No.
Not yet. Okay. So
All
where
my
did-
Puerto Rican homies from New York, from the Bronx, started moving out here. And they were getting deeper. And then one of them, Henry Kahlo at that time, he had a credible collection of records. Back then, you had, like the poles, like if you had a stripper pole or something, and then the records all hung, and you were able to go like this to them.
Oh,
You know what
wow.
I'm saying, right? That was the thing back then. That was that 70s,
Kind of a fly way to
I
have
do
your
blow
records.
days. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's
I
how
would
that's how you
floss.
kept your collection.
You were flossing.
Yeah.
And then go over there and he'd be playing records all the time. And this one, but he had an extensive collection of records, and he already was up with the hip hop because he had just got here a few months
Yeah.
before.
Right.
And he was a DJ. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have the rhythm to DJ. He didn't know one beat. He was tone deaf. That's what's crazy. He was tone deaf. So he couldn't learn how to DJ
Wow.
because he was completely tone deaf. So he had no rhythm.
But he loved the music.
He knew it all.
Yeah.
He knew everything about it, but he couldn't, what tone deaf, like, he couldn't even keep a beat. Whatever he hears, he's doing Planet Rock in his brain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We encounter many of those. That's
We do.
But, so I
working
knew
on it.
that. I knew what that meant. I knew that condition. So one day I just told him, hey, man, would you leave the turntables here? Because they used to borrow my speakers. Always have big speakers or RPA with the amp built in it to power our speakers, Vegas.
from the band.
From the band.
Yeah.
And they would borrow them to go do parties. I would drive by the party, or I'd go hang out at the party, or we'd get in a fight. They call me, we go handle that. But eventually I was like, all right, I want to do that. Can you leave them here? And I was on the bookshelf, one turntable here, the mixer here, and a turntable up there, and played a record and tried to figure out how to blend in. And he explained to me, hey, you know, if you do this slowly, the kick, the snare, and that's easy.
Yeah.
That was easy. And then boom, okay, so what is this? The knob, you know, the little roller, makes it go faster, it makes it go slower. So it took a while.
Oh, the
And
pitch
then-
control. Yeah. Okay.
Right. And then watching the little bubbles on the side of the plate.
Oh yes.
And when this little bubbles, you know, at this thing, and so you're raw. So you have to apply a lot of paying attention. So you're learning a lot about the craft. You're not just watching somebody and trying to mimic it. You have to like figure it out on your own. You don't get to see none of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
You know what I'm
what year was this?
82 maybe,
82.
you know, the end of 82,
Right.
end of 82, something like that.
So when did you?
Well, 81, there was already cracking things, but I was in the band heavy. 80 and 81, it was cracking. So they were already there in 1982. And that started coming in. But nobody had that. We were weirdos. My friends were weirdos to everyone else. We would go to Hollywood and, you know, you'd have the dominoes there, you know, locking and breaking and doing whatever they did. And my boys would be on the floor doing spin and people thought we were nuts. And then I would have a mixtape with It's Life. You got the thing twice. With the instrumental reprise that went real long and they'd be just busting to that.
Wow.
Because we didn't have breaks.
Right.
Who can buy those records? And in LA, it's not someplace you didn't go to LA to the store and buy those records, bro.
Right.
You weren't gonna find God Made Me Funky.
Right.
Not nowhere around here you weren't.
Right.
You had to go to garage sales somewhere in the hood because you were never gonna find that record. Those
Yeah.
records were already done and out of print. And
And you would
Finished.
find them from people who were already trying to get rid of them.
family members, or they'd be in a garage or garage sale and just come in. But nobody really like did that. There's no diggers. I'm sure record collectors did that, but record collectors were older people that were just collecting records.
Yeah, they weren't trying to get busy. Yeah.
Yeah, and we had no action. I mean, to be able to find two of one thing. A lot of records only became famous and got on the radio, Mr. Chuck, is because there was enough of them for us to buy to be able to have doubles. Or else your record wouldn't even, and your beat started with boom, pop, pop, or went do boom, pop. We had an intro. Guess what? You're going to be on the radio. It wasn't because the record was dope, because some of them records weren't that dope to be hits.
Yeah.
Right.
We just needed something to be able to do what we wanted to floss what we were supposed to
Those
be
are your
about.
tools.
Right.
Our tools. And we made those records our way.
So at one point, did that mentality lock in of I need doubles of everything, Tony? Like at what point were like after
right from
Flash,
the beginning.
it was always about two records?
No, not after like my buddy Henry. It's like you got to have two, bro, to be able to go back and forth.
Henry was already on it.
So
Henry
Henry
was
knew what
already
we-
on it.
Yeah.
So even in his collection, he had doubles of all them records that you're talking.
Wow.
The best record collection, probably hip hop collection you've ever seen in your life.
Wow.
So
And
what
we're
kind
kids.
of records were you talking? What you
Hip-hop.
remember? Early rap records,
Early rap records. And underground. Because, you know, in New York, they were just,
bootlegs.
they're incredible. That's the creation of pop-ups. Freestyle records in New York, somebody would open up a shop on Manhattan
And sell
for
records.
that weekend and sell those whatever records they had.
Yeah.
And that's how you got freestyle music. Chicago the same way. You had to go to somebody's house to buy these records, bro. You didn't like go to a store. Stores didn't carry those records.
Right.
You had to know where to go. And you go to Music Factory and all that. Yeah, they had heat. You know, they had a lot of stuff, but they only carried, you know, certain heat.
Right.
Stuff that was on the radio because that was a business.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was a different ball game. Just a
Way
whole different ball
different.
game.
So what was your first mixer? Your first DJ mixer?
A realistic with, a realistic with just those four, for the little one that you had sitting right there.
Yeah.
Just the
One
four
in
with the
that
four
room.
ups.
The
The
four
four-
No,
yeah,
no
yeah.
crossfader.
No
Same
crossfader.
same one that we all had.
With the little VU meters.
Yeah. Right.
No crossfader. Yeah, just up and down. And I took that, and then Henry told me that I needed a fader for that. But thank God I didn't have the fader because it made me focus on mixing and blending. Not trying to hurry up and scatterbrain and try to do the scratching stuff.
Right.
I would rent mixers, and then I would rent a 1200 just so I can practice, learn scratching, because you could only scratch. This is how I scratch, was with my thumb, because on the belt
On the inside
drives.
of the record.
Yeah.
That was like the same thing with, like, say, Grand Mixer DST. He was scratching with his thumb.
You had to, because if you went like this, the needle came off the record.
Yeah,
Right.
because your hand's too heavy. Yeah.
There was no way to control
Like,
that.
what do they call it? The rub. Like you're rubbing the record.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you couldn't even put your fingers on the record. You had to like stay off of all that.
On the platter. That's why you see all those pictures, old pictures of DJs back in New York. They were all on the side. Yeah.
Yes. And then the feathering was done from the spindle.
So that's where that comes
The
from.
spindle, because if you touched the record, it would,
Good chance
Warble.
you skipped it. Yeah.
Right.
because it's analog. Nothing's locked. There's no time stretching being used. So if you just touched the record, you would hear that.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
So you had to be very soft and to be able to feather and grab that spindle, and that taught me how to mix. So I would, every time I got a record, I'd record it on a cassette a whole bunch of times, over and over, a new record. When I would sleep at night or when I'd be home doing whatever or lifting weights, I'd play that song over and over so I could memorize. I'm terrible with rap lyrics, but I knew the four bars before the break was coming,
Yep.
and what he was gonna say and how and on what beat, rhythmically,
Yeah.
he was gonna start rapping again.
That's so important,
That's
man. I tell our students that all the time. Even when you're not practicing, listen to the music.
Yes.
Because you'll find different ways to
Yes.
do a transition or find a different break in the record that'll help you be creative with it.
Yes.
Yeah, man. It's so
Yeah,
important.
we call that mapping here, Tony. So we teach the
Right.
students to map records, and that's what I really want folks to understand, guys. Is like Tony really architected our whole style of DJing.
Yes,
Well,
you
mapping,
did, you know?
mapping was done in your head. Remember, because if you heard a song, you had to think, would it work?
Yeah.
So you always had to record yourself doing mixes, right?
Right.
And play them back. And me, I always knew exactly what snare, what hat, or what position I was going to drop that song and where the fader was going to come and the amplification of when I brought it in. And it was always the same.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that, because once something was almost perfect or perfect, you didn't want to bother that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because certain two records just sounded great
Good
together.
yeah.
And how to get out of the record when you didn't have harmonic and you needed a break or an instrumental. So that's why you would only play B-side bonus beats of certain records that everybody wanted. They were only used to transition you to do your little scratches and move on to the next phase of music or record that you're going to do during that mix. So I would play my mixes back for every day, hours, and say, oh, a new record would come out. You already knew where that record was going to fit in your extensive library of mixes that you had in your head. No record would come out and I knew where it was going to go. So when I played it, it always sounded good because it was, this record was in here and this record was here and this made it sound dope. These two records made that record sound dope.
Yeah.
You know what I really love that I hope our listeners appreciate, Tony, is the fact that I want to focus on the fact that how you would record the song back to back to back over and over on a whole tape. I did that all the time.
On two-sided.
Yeah.
Kid Frost had a little...
So I'd flip over and just keep going all night, right?
So I would record it, the whole thing over and over, and the instrumental, okay?
Yeah.
And play it over and over so I can get the feel and memorize every lyric so I knew what I needed to do when I needed to change that record or go into that or get out of that record.
Every
or
option.
Start that record. I needed to have every option for every record.
So kids out there, you get to put that little repeat button on your iPod or your phone and can listen to a song. This is what we had to do to get even just that function. You got to really appreciate that. I used to do that over and over. I thought I was crazy, but it was the only way you would be able to memorize a song.
Yeah.
Well, before I would record like that, I would play the record and lay down, and then whenever I'd wake up, the record would be at the end. You'd see a big old burn knot on the paper. But I'd do it again after I go to the restroom, and I'd play it again and just start hearing those lyrics. So I knew how long that intro, what was done, every instrument to see if there was another record that would fit harmonically, in key, or rhythmic to keep it together.
Yeah.
And this is important, guys, for our DJ history, especially here on the West Coast, because that mentality alone, 30 years later, Tony, you see it in the youngest DJs now.
Right.
Yep.
You know, we've all listened and been part of radio historically, and we have through generations still hear the echoes of you and the Mixmasters and what you left us.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. You
Well,
know
we
what
had
I'm
no
saying?
one to see. We had to think it out.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have no way to see it unless you can get to the hood, and some places you couldn't go.
Right.
Yeah.
So you didn't know. You
And-
just hear it.
And we hear
Oh, I
stories
could do
about the different styles in different cities around the country.
Right.
And, you know, we're really prideful of our style here in LA. And it's
No
derivative of this mapping, solid blending. Yeah, we can get busy. Yeah, we could do doubles, but like, there's a real sense and pride in our mixing and the mapping and that amplification you're talking about. And, you know,
That
even
blending.
you still hear it on the radio right now. We could turn on to a DJ in the mix, and they care about all those kind of things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Julio G always credits you for that. Like in terms of when mixing on a radio, he said that you would tell him, "Don't do all the crazy stuff yet. Mix an instrument, mix the vocals, the instrumental, then use it as a transition." He always credits you for in terms of formatting a mix.
Yeah.
And-
Well, I would start some records with just the break because the break would be so hot,
Yeah.
and then go into the song as what we call intros now
Right.
and outros.
You make your intro live.
We make our intros live and outros live in order to get the record to come in banging and then into the words and then go back into the break. And people sometimes didn't know that break belonged to the song that vocally you were playing
Right.
because the break was so different. Or
So advanced for
funky.
people. So advanced for people back in the day to understand what you guys were doing.
But it was music.
Yeah.
I learned it from some other people.
right.
The thought and the process was taught, or you picked that up by osmosis. It is what it is. Your environment. So being around musical people, you're already thinking like that. Theoretically, we're all. I didn't really invent nothing. I just applied. You understand what I'm saying?
For sure.
What was in my environment to put me to do whatever I wanted to do.
Now, how did you develop more of your obviously your mixing skills, but what about like in terms of scratching techniques and the doubles and stuff?
What you said, somebody told you, or Battlecat. I was a percussionist. So I grew up I'm from the Caribbean, right? So salsa music, religious music with congas and Latin percussion. And percussion is really important. We have a key, which is called a clave. Without that clave, you don't have no Caribbean music. And that Caribbean music comes from Africa. All rhythmic and all mathematical rhythmic patterns come from Africa. It wasn't until the West invaded Africa that they were able to take those rhythms and transcribe it to where you see it mathematically. All rhythms, all were created in Africa.
Say it again. All.
All.
Yes.
Every single one. Who transcribed it? The scholars, German scholars, French scholars, these great musicians that were able to transcribe it into math, into music. Now, the difference between reading it and playing it and being able to play it from osmosis is two different things.
Yes.
You can't teach someone to be funky.
True.
They're just funky.
Yeah. They're born with it.
That's it.
Yeah.
They're born with it, or they were exposed to it early enough to be it,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
to really be authentic.
Now it's a part of them. Yeah.
Be authentic.
Yeah.
Without it, don't matter. So that's where I had that, and what I did with the scratching was I made believe I was soloing. We have one of the drums, a quinto, is the smallest quinto, usually 9.5 or 10 head. And that's the one that's repicador. That's the one that's answering the singer. And when he starts doing his solo, it's because he's mimicking what the dancer's doing in our culture, in our African culture, you know what I'm saying, in our religious culture. So that repique and that stuff is like, that's when dude was getting down. That's the solo for that. So I would try to mimic that as much as I could. You were limited because you had to slow the records and speed it up yourself to be able to try to get the tones of multiple sounds that you get on a conga, which is a slap, open tone, mute tones, heel tone for the bass. So you try to mimic all that with a record. And then guitaring, the fuzzing, only came in from the triplets of trying to do like a flamenco guitar player.
It's like the same thing. It's the
That's
same
all it
rhythm.
is. It's
Same
the
rhythm.
That's all you.
Different instrument.
And that's why I did that. And every DJ in LA will tell you they got that because they heard me do it on the radio. M-Walk, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, you was a king.
Keeping
man.
it.
Still the king. Yeah.
Yeah. We call it flutters, but it was really 30-second notes, 64. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
That's all it really is.
It's all polyrhythms, right?
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It's all rhythm.
That's all
It's
it is.
all rhythm.
And the scratching that I was doing, now that you said that, is it's syncopation on top of whatever rhythms that are playing at that moment. I'm just a piece of the clock. That's it.
Interesting, because obviously, you know, the style from the East Coast versus when, you know, like obviously the West Coast was known for being more faster rhythms, and obviously you were part of that. Now, I mean, how did you figure out the you know, the mathematics of just like, besides being a musician and stuff, like the styles that was coming from New York versus how you applied to here? I mean,
Well, the style from New York was always the same style. It didn't evolve. We in LA evolved it.
Preach.
They did not evolve it. Okay? Grandmaster Flash, what he did from Kool Herc to Grandmaster Flash is there's no similarity.
No.
right?
You understand what I'm saying? What one person did to do what he was doing to create, he was the first rocking at the party. Okay, my neighbor was the first guy to put a liquor store in such and such street.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Now, how he did it, what he played, that's, yeah. What, Flash, Theodore, you know what I'm saying? What they did mechanically is the foundation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure. And that's something we preach here all the time about that. All the
Right.
time.
We talk about Flash
Me
a lot.
being musically inclined, it was lucky enough for me to think out other patterns and think out other concepts and ideas to just top what you're learning from someone, what you saw someone else do or hear someone else do. Like anything else, it's just evolution. It's evolving.
Yeah.
And I was able to evolve it at the right time. I was at the right age. And just hit. You know?
I kind of want to put us in a time period, Tony. I kind of want to talk about. I'm imagining, I'm not sure what year, but Uncle Jam's Army's already cracking.
They've
right?
been cracking way
All right.
before
They've
I
been
even
cracking.
thought about doing anything.
Right?
They were already
They're the
already
shit.
doing their thing.
They're the shit.
they've been doing that. These are grown men that have been doing clubs and promotion and
Right.
Roger he brought
Roger Clayton.
Roger Clayton. He brings New York, not New York City Breakers, for Milestyle, Frosty Freeze.
Oh, Rocksteady
Rocksteady.
crew.
So he brings Rocksteady. My boy Henry's cousins had just moved here. They were the new generation of New Yorkers that had just moved here. They had whatever problems they had in New York, and they had to come here.
Had to get away.
They find out from a flyer or on the radio or something on KGFJ, right, that Rocksteady's going to be in such and such roller rink. They live in the same apartment with Koriaki and, we got to get to there. They went down there. We went all the way from Almani, bro, to the hood to go see the homies. Then they wind up coming to Almani to go kick it because they hadn't seen each other. And then, but it was cool because now everything that they had been doing in New York and what was the name of the breakers again?
Rocksteady crew.
So the Rocksteady now was coming to Cali. That was a big deal. And that was Uncle Jam Army, though. I mean, that I know of.
Right.
That I know.
Right.
Roger Clayton did that.
He brought them out here.
He brought them out here.
Dope.
No one, the place was empty. Not like the normal Uncle Jam Army cracking
Right.
thing, because nobody was really
No
hip.
one was up on
What
it.
is
yet.
that?
Yeah.
A bunch of fools rolling around in circles.
Getting dirty.
Right.
Getting their clothes dirty.
And this is before even when people saw, like, some of the TV shows like That's Incredible and
I wasn't even DJing at that time when that happened.
Wow.
I was trying to, I played a record here and there until within that time period, I had a bad accident. And my boys would come visit me at the house and stuff. And in that time period of borrowing equipment from me is when I asked, hey, can you leave the turntables here?
Right.
Because I was really not too hip moving around for a while. So I was able to apply a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And I'm a impulsive person. It helps.
Yeah.
To learn how to control your impulsivities into directing it something that constructive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you're an addictive person, addictive personality, impulsive, if you apply that to the general things of life that you want to do, you'll get there.
Gems are being dropped right now.
Because anytime anybody tells you, oh, you have to, you could, anything you want, you could put your mind to it, that's bullshit. Stop bullshitting kids. You got to tell kids, you have to apply your knowledge and your talent, okay? And do it compulsively. And if you're not doing it compulsively, you're just going to be like anyone else.
Yeah.
You're just as good or that. That's it. The compulsion amongst the talent is what takes you to that next level.
Yeah.
Because you could have a lot of talent and not have the discipline, and eventually somebody will catch up to you and whoop you.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
One thing I can say about me and my boys, we are strangely obsessed with DJing and music, and it's
So
just
was I.
it's just the normal shit for us.
so was I. I'm just
That's real,
extremely
Tony.
obsessed with music and history and sound and
Knowledge.
I'm just. That's the way I am. Life takes
So
you
dope.
away from it. You have family, children. You have to.
Balance.
You lose that 10-hour, 12-hour thing. Right. If you're not practicing 4, 6, 8 hours, sometimes for the heavy stuff that's coming up, you ain't about it.
That's the truth, man.
You ain't about it.
That's the truth.
Just settle to where you're at, because you're just a slacker and you're going to be there. There's always going to be somebody. You're going to go watch people play.
Right.
See, like I told Red Matic, I never saw anybody in LL play because I wasn't interested. I didn't need, do you know this DJ? And this DJ used to be, he needed to come see me play. When they came to see me play, they knew what they were dealing with.
Right.
That's why you'll never see pictures with me and none of those supposedly badass old DJs that were here putting it down. No videos, no names on my flyers or their flyers. Never me. Never. Never me.
Yeah.
Right.
Because when I came to wreck.
Right.
Yeah. And you did.
Yes, you did.
Whether it was mixing, scratching, playing, having the cuts. Man, my records were specifically in one order. You never saw 5 records dangling off of mine. Right. I treasured my records.
Right.
Every song I did, even in the middle of killing it, them records always went back in the sleeve. Very seldom did they not go back in the sleeve. And a record without that plastic to
protect it. Yeah.
Julio, I'll tell you,
That
was the man. I cut you off. You'll never come to one of my gigs again. You'll never
If you're sloppy with your records.
Never. Never. And if you didn't look that needle that had lint on it, and you started cutting, and you didn't see that, I knew you were whack. I was going to turn you off immediately. Wow. You were done. I walked in and you had the GLI this big, you were done. You were done. Even your needles, I could see your needles, you're done.
Right. What needles you were using, if you don't mind me asking?
I can't remember their name now, but they had the little brass in the front with the white thing in front.
Stanton 500s.
That's it.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
The same ones that we all
Nothing
came upon.
else.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they tried to shoot me other stuff, and everybody was, oh, no, I used the ALs, yeah, but with a quarter on top.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you had to level your arms. You had to understand what all those mechanics on the 1200 was.
Right.
What it meant to level. How much balance. What's the pressure of your hand? How much are you going to put on there? What type of records? Because remember, we didn't spin vinyl. By the time I became a DJ, the only vinyl I spun was old records. All the new records were made out of acrylic with maybe a tiny percentage of vinyl. That's why they were so stiff. And in LA, you couldn't really work. It took a long time to work that record in to be able to even get it to just move.
Yeah.
Because it was made out of acrylic.
Damn.
There wasn't vinyl. So everything you bought and all that, I collect vinyl. It's not vinyl, bro. It's all acrylic. None of that shit is vinyl. Wow. Any vinyl records probably pre-1980 maybe. Right. Yeah, they still might have had some, but I doubt it.
Right.
It's all acrylic.
Damn.
So there was a stiff material.
Yeah.
And then, people started going to real studios to make hip hop records, and everything was real bright and crispy and beautiful. So all the warmness was gone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So then you had to like, you can't get me 2 records of its time brand new and expect it.
You have to break it in.
It just doesn't sound good.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound good. It's missing something. So if you're gonna dump your old record that you were killing it as a DJ, make sure you dump the record that you've been cutting with.
I've done that
so
a
you
lot.
do not lose your character
Yeah.
and who you are.
Yeah.
Preach.
Yeah.
It's a reality,
Right.
right?
Tony, I got to talk about some of these legendary stories we were talking about off air here first of all.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Because I just love thinking about that time that you were just that like it was like the Wild West, man. You were just like this cowboy, like no one could fuck with me, man. You know what I'm saying? And you told us a story about challenging Bobcat.
Yeah. Everybody brings that up.
Let's talk about it. Put it out there.
Man, people were talking about Bobcat. I already knew about Glove. I seen the Glove once I saw the
Crystal Glove.
the Reckless.
Right.
I went to the radio. My boy Kevin Kim took me over to a radio.
What year is that? 80, 83, 84?
80s.
80s.
Yeah.
Before KDAY, before I was on KDAY.
Okay.
And before KDAY was doing anything like that.
Right.
And I believe Dr. Jock, you know what I'm saying, was DJing up there. I forgot the other DJ's name. And I Need a Freak
Sexual harassment.
was the hot record.
Yeah. Don't.
So in LA, just to be able to go bam, boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom. So you look around the radio, it was a lot of white kids, stone high, sitting on a floor. It was that kind of a place, and I'm like, wow, you know, I was really I used to have really bad anxiety and shit. I don't want to touch shit and drugs, and if I smell weed, I'd leave. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't me, you know?
Yeah.
My boy made me go there to go see Ice-T. Because I heard this guy named Ice-T was the rapper dude. So I went down there and Dr. Jock was sitting down. I believe it was Dr. Jock sitting down, playing I Need a Freak. Boom, boom. And then the next thing he'd do, all off beat.
Yeah.
But that was like, he was killing it. But then he would do, I need a freak. And then my boy tells me, see, that's the triple threat. That's what they're doing out here, blah, 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 blah.
So crazy they called it the triple threat back then.
That's what he called it, the triple threat. And he's telling me this. I'm like, okay, what is it? Well, you're supposed to, and then this disco homie of mine was the one that told me, I think you're supposed to put one record behind the other one there. So when you go like that, this one, and then you move it and that one plays. He explained it to me. I learned it right there. He explained it to me, and I'm like, oh. And that just opened a window of tricks.
Yeah.
That's when I came up with bang, 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 because I just put the record mathematically farther back.
Yeah.
And then butted ghost notes before to make it sound like I was doing a whole bunch of them, but they were just ghost notes.
Right.
And then do the triple inside the other two, and it sounded like 5.
Yeah.
This is like our whole style, Tony.
Yeah,
This is like the birth of our whole style. Right?
It's
Me, bro. It's me, bro.
I mean, well, okay, so
You are me, bro.
You are a father. You are a father to our style, man. We tell you that all the time, too, Tony.
so you're saying triple threats because obviously I know Egypt was saying that he did triple threats.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure he did because Egypt's, that's LA. That was that style.
Right.
Egypt, Glove, Jock. I mean, there's so many different DJs in LA. I didn't know any of them. I only knew I knew about Egypt because of Egypt, that song.
Yeah.
Right.
I never heard anything about it. I never heard. My boys were like, dog, Egyptian. We thought he was an Egyptian guy. Swear to God.
I did too.
So then all I found
Is
out
he really from Egypt?
was my boy Kev told me, hey, Kid Frost was over there with David Stores and them. And this guy Egypt, he got a record deal. And I think it was through JDC or something like that with Peebo. Okay? And he got a record deal and he got blah, 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 thousands, a couple thousands or whatever, and a van. My boy got a van for doing that? And I was like, that's all.
That's all you need to hear.
Couldn't leave my head
Yeah.
until I eventually did
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Right.
Because of Egypt.
Wow.
I didn't meet Egypt till later on. I mean, he came to one of our events
Right.
where Bobcat was at. It was probably the only time Bobcat and I ever DJ'd in the same place. Because he felt, my opinion, Bobcat felt he had an up on me because now he had the terror.
The terror.
And he was going to eat me alive with that. He knew it.
He was confident in it.
He came because Bobby never was him and I never DJ'd anywhere together, ever. Nor on the radio, nor at a club. Bobcat and I were just homies. Me and him would take the trip to the store when we were doing the mixes for break to go buy candy, and I'd be bumping my mixtapes of just old funk. Like, damn, you got that jams, Tony G. He would tell me all the time, you always got all of them jams, because I would have everything. Because, I grew up in Miami, and the years I lived there, next to EDR, that's just, back then it was just a trailer run black station where you heard black music in Miami. The only station you heard black music. And it happened to be a couple blocks from my house where I lived. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't miss none of that. I missed it when I got here because you couldn't hear Fancy Dancer or Skin Tight in LA.
Right.
Yeah. Not on the radio.
No. You had to go to KGFJ and LA, South Central, or anywhere you could pick up the signal of KGFJ. And
KFJ, 12:30 a.m., right?
12:30 a.m.
Right. Okay.
Yes. So, like I said, in the history of KDAY, I have no history before that. Before I went there in '84, I have no idea how that ran, and I just know that a lot of famous DJs came from there before. Wolfman Jack.
Well, you calling out Bobcat kind of led up to that, right?
Yeah, so then Bobcat, that's right. Egypt's there. Egypt's there because I think Egypt came to perform whatever new record he had just made.
Right.
We're at the Reseda roller rink in Reseda. I had just done a gig across the street, down the street at the Wolf and Rich Miller Country Club with my band. My boys took off, and I walked across the street because my homies from Almani had unloaded the system at the roller rink down the street, and I went in there and did the KDAY event.
Right.
And then that day, and then Bobby came and he just started pick up the
With the tear,
Right.
He wasn't like doing the whole rhythmic function of it, but he was going back. He had that down. And then Egypt gets on, and DJ did something of it, but Egypt was like, it was more flossing at that time. Egypt was, he'd go rigger. He did this moment. I'm sitting there going, wow, I'm gonna eat these dudes alive right now. I mean, that's how I was going in my head. My boys looking at me going, that's homeboy. Not to clown him, bro.
Right.
In the field of DJing and in the DJing world,
Right.
it's all that was irrelevant to us.
Yeah.
Right.
To the real motherfuckers that DJ.
Yes.
Right.
Now, not to take away saying they weren't real DJs. They were definitely real DJs, and they DJ'd and played and did the club thing and all that.
Right.
But I'm talking about what the fuck we do.
Yeah.
Fucking it up.
Look, it's a select crew. All them other motherfuckers could try to be a part of it, but they're just not.
Right.
Church.
So I guess in terms of like what Bab said, like when did you challenge Bobcat?
Oh no, that was I went to Uncle Jam's Army record store. My boy Cassius
Right.
tells me, I told Cassius, hey man, I want to find Bobcat because he's supposed to be the hottest shit. And he had told me, Uncle Jam got this dude Bobcat. He's the hardest one out there. T, if you're gonna make any noise, we're gonna have to go, find that dude. I said, I want to battle that dude. So my boy Diego, D-Dog, he was balling when we were little kids. I had a few hundo, and he put up the rest. He said, T, I'll give you 1,000. Let's go find homeboy. My boy Cassius.
That was a big deal back in those days, too.
Oh, yeah. So I told him, I heard he works at Uncle Jam's Army. I think that's where, I thought it was like an office and stuff. It turned out to be a little store about as big as this. And it kind of looked just like that.
DJ
That's
booth,
it.
right? The record store was called DJ
And it was
booth.
like as big as like a farther here.
Right.
So my boy Cash was like, yeah, you want to go up there, man? That's right in Crip Hood. And you can get, it's going to be ugly right now. Because it was a bad time.
Yeah.
Something was popping.
Yeah.
So he was a brother, and he was like, I got you, Tony, let's go. I'll show you where it is. He told me, turn right, turn left, turn right, turn left. Got there, walked in acting like we were shopping. I was already suspect. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
I didn't look,
Yeah.
what was cracking at that moment in that little area to be just
Right.
walking comfortably. And then I didn't dress like nothing, no gang member, nothing like that. So I was just, me and him acting like we were shopping.
Yeah.
And then my boy's like, man, we trying to find Bobcat. Where Bobcat at, man? Remember why you trying to find Bobcat? Well, I heard he's a dope DJ. I'm a DJ too. And he looked at me like, oh, yeah? Well, Bobcat, he be doing, man, I got $1,000 right now. I'm not a Bobcat. He's like, it's Bobcat. He doesn't tell me he's Bobcat.
So Bobcat is acting like it's not him.
So the dude behind the counter is Bobcat,
He's
not
Bobcat.
telling you he's Bobcat.
Eating. He's eating out. I have certain things in my memory locked.
So dope.
It's like Chinese food.
Yeah.
Some fried rice or some shit. Who knows what the fuck he was eating.
So Bobcat's
But
eating
he's
Chinese
sitting there
food.
eating, looking at me.
Yeah.
The Bobcat's from the streets. I mean, he's not. Bobcat ain't these normal cornballs that are out there. Bobcat is not that dude.
Right.
Bobcat was from the street. Right. Lived in the street and is from the street.
Right.
So his mind is going like, am I about to get this dude for $1,000? So he's working it, he's doing it.
Right.
Right.
He's doing it. He's working me right there. You know what I'm saying? So I got $1,000. What you want to do? Man, 1,000? Man, you ain't got no $1,000. My boy pulls out a G. We got a G right here. Cash.
Ready to go.
Cash. We'll use your shit. Because there was turntables right there. So we'll use your shit. And Bob said, oh, and there was another homie over there standing there that worked there. And he was a little older gentleman. It wasn't Roger. And he was already like suspect looking at us like, well, yeah, man, well, you got to have that money. And that's when my boy pulled out the towel. Mind you, we're in the record shop with people there. And Bobcat tells me, man, Bobcat can do this, right? And Bobcat could do that, right? Man, why don't you get on the turntables? You want to warm up because he'll be here in a little bit. It's Bobby. Bobcat did that to me. He set me up. Working it. It's a hustle.
Yeah.
You have no idea it's Bobcat at all.
No.
Okay.
Zero. I've never seen them.
You just ready to serve. That's all you was ready
$1,000
for.
bucks. I was going to come up with that or shut it down and don't ever say you're the baddest.
Right.
That's all I wanted to prove.
Right.
Get on the turntable a little bit. I get on Electric Kingdom and start, and he goes, well, Bobcat could do that at 45 and choo choo boom, bam, 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 choo, pick it back in the jungle, bam,
Electric Kingdom.
Yeah, that was your shit.
He tells me, man, you're pretty dope. He goes, man, I'm Bobcat. You're pretty dope, man. And Bobby was fire.
Yeah.
Bobby was creative.
Yeah.
He's a
Sharp.
He was an originator of the LA sound.
Fuck yeah.
I'm not the originator of the LA sound. He's the originator. Him in Egypt. You understand what I'm saying? Those are the originators of a certain type of LA sound.
Yeah.
I was
for
able
sure.
to just make a pop and give us a different type of sound in radio and club performance. You know what I'm saying? Compared to what they were doing. It's different. It was totally different.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
So you would say the foundation would say is Uncle Jam's Ari and then KDAY
Well, there was
Mixmaster?
other crews.
There's other crews?
Yeah, there was other crews in LA, but it's, LA's big, bro. Really big.
Yeah.
So there was some big crews at that Ultra Wave.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yes.
a big crew. And that was something that Jam and I was always working with them.
Right.
And that was a college thing. And Walk, they had their thing, man. And then once Joe came in, Joe was sucking
Joe
up
Cooley.
all that anyway.
Joe Cooley.
Joe Cooley.
Joe Cooley.
He started sucking up all those gigs right away. You know what I'm saying? And Walk had his people because Walk is from Compton.
Right.
Walk ain't no sleeper. He's from Compton.
Right.
Like he knows what's up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Joe, they're out there Compton, Carson area. They know
Right.
what's up. They had their own thing. And then all they were trying to do is get hired by these big crews that were already doing big parties in their areas.
Yeah.
And they got it and made that happen. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't give them, I had a rules to how to DJ and what we're going to do on the radio and when we're going to do events.
So how did it lead up to you going, to be part of KDAY and become part of, start the KDAY Mixmasters?
Kid Frost and a homie of ours named Todd, his parents own a cleaning business. they come clean your offices and shit.
Oh, right.
So they were the family clean the business, clean KDAY. So Ty would be in there always rubbing necks with people, telling people about this DJ they knew, had slid my tape to KDAY, to Rory Kaufman.
Right.
Kid Frost had already been doing not in stores, those parties in schools,
lunchtimes.
Yeah.
Lunchtime events.
Yeah.
And Kid Frost had already, man, you got to bring my DJ, because what happened was David Storrs and them, they got Antoine to be Frost's DJ. I already was trying to work on beats with Frost.
Antoine
and all that
was is DJ
Yella.
DJ Yella. Okay.
Yella and them had a record out, of course. They had their little thing that they were doing. Him and Clientele put a record out.
Right.
Yella was trying to scratch with this round. Yella couldn't scratch himself, bro. With two Mickey Mouse reaches, he couldn't scratch his. But he was over there with that round
rotary
thing. Trying to do the fresh and stuff. We really believed DST was really doing. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know that was sample. You know what I'm saying? We thought he was like scratching that. So that helped us. You know what I'm saying? Get that sound. So Frost is trying to convince them that I was a better DJ than Yella, and then I should go to David Storrs and scratch, and then go to KDAY events, and they were like, they weren't having it. It wasn't going to happen, and I was like, I don't want to go anyway, because I don't. That's not my scene. You know, I don't even know who you're talking about. Didn't matter, and I was that kind of person. I was very private. I didn't want. You very seldom see pictures of me. The pictures I have of me, people send them to me on Instagram. I don't even have pictures of myself or video. I didn't like to do that. Period. It's just what I had a religious beliefs, and I just didn't. I try to stay out of all stuff as much as possible publicly.
Yeah.
Period. That's why you don't see me place. That's why people could say they were doing a whole bunch of stuff, but I never even DJ half the places they tell me. I was up there with you when you was up. I never went there. I only went to a handful of places consistently.
Yeah.
You know, before that it was backyard parties, or unless somebody had a specific party and I knew them and they hired me. Otherwise than that, I was radio. Right. Once I got on radio, it was just radio. Radio only.
And so going into KDAYs, like this is what year that you said Kid Frost.
Kid Frost was already making records.
Right. He was doing like Commando Rock, was it?
Commando or Rough Cut.
Rough Cut.
One of those, Commando Rock. You're right. I think that was so bad, bro. It was terrible. And we felt so bad because he's the homie, you know? Yeah. But it was his only end to production.
Right.
To go with this man that didn't know anything about rap music, this producer that knew nothing about anything. But he had a studio at his house, and he knew how to work the shit. And he had the plug to put the records out to Macola and rip everybody off. How do you think you buy a house in that part of Hollywood?
Right.
It was the hustle.
Right.
And I told Frost, oh, hell no, I'll never play that. Because it was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. I mean, come on, man. Cold Wind Madness. The beat is groovy, man, but them raps on there.
And that's your homie, so.
Cold Wind Madness, that's Ice. Cold Wind Madness.
Yeah,
Remember that record?
Yeah. That's produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Terrible. The beat was groovy, but Homeboy was rapping on it. Come on, Frost said, it's rough, it's tough. I'm like, man, are you serious? It was bad compared to everything in hip hop that was already was already out somewhere out there on the East Coast. Right. That was bad. We were never gonna get on East Coast radio, bro, with that kind of funk and the repetitious little groove like that. No break, no feel, no. And Frost was like, man, it's only in, man. We got to get in there with this dude and this dude. And then he signs Ice-T and he does the same shit. Or he had Ice first, I believe. Mm-hmm. He had Ice first, and then Ice got Kid Frost into there, or one or the other.
But you said Kid Frost was the one to get you connected to KDAY.
Yeah, because Kid Frost was already connected doing those school events at lunchtime. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, man, bitches, girls, and all my boys were like, man, let's go get the girls, do it, Tone, who cares? So we did one of our first ones. I don't remember where it was. And it was like one of these Garfield High School or some shit. And it was like cracking for lunchtime. And the teachers were all happy because we were fucking cutting it up in the thing and all the kids were there. Hey, we got booked every day.
Wow.
Every day. we did those events.
So the Mixmaster starts off with you, Jammin' Gemini, and Dre.
And Dre's already gone. Dre was only there for like 28 seconds because he had other shit to do, and he was with the Wrecking Crew. And there,
So Dre already had it cracking.
Yeah.
Lonzo was a grown man, very possessive of his group, just like Roger was very possessive of his Uncle Jams.
That's why Bobcat left also.
I have no idea why Bobcat left.
Right.
I know that these young men had a lot of talent, and the only way they can use their talent was working for older people that had established business and knew what they were doing business-wise.
Right.
We didn't have any business.
And then eventually it was you and Gemini.
That's it.
Right.
For a long time.
So how did you go about recruiting all the other Mixmasters?
Henji
Henji of the Spin Masters.
and Evil.
Evil.
They're living out here in Southgate somewhere. I don't even Bell.
Bell.
I
Okay.
think they were in Bell Gardens. Bell.
Right.
Bell or in that area. They were in the hood, you know. They knew what was up, and they transform Ice. Ice sees Evil scratching, and Henry killing a record and doing some other stuff, and Ice immediately stepped to them, and that was their ticket to get in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Henry and Evil were pretty much my story the same way. New York dudes,
Yeah.
So hence that's why they're called the New York City Spin
because
Masters.
that's who they were. And they both rap.
Yeah.
They made a record with David Storrs, which was much better than everybody else's record because they really knew how to rap.
Right.
Right.
And they had the finesse of it.
Right.
And Ice immediately scoops them up. They introduce Ice to that New York shit, like how to really do what and structure and just the finesse of that East Coast. Because Evil was dope. Henry was dope with his mixing and stuff. On the radio, Henry couldn't mix because he didn't have that knowledge of radio. You know what I'm saying? He'd have the record here -2, and then the other one at -4. Like, homie, we can't do that on the radio. It don't sound right. Something just ain't right. It don't sound like that right now. Make it last forever. Hold up, Tony, I'm speeding up right quick. Henry was quick. He knew how to grind that shit, boy.
Spindle.
Maybe Henry. I'd be like, bro, I would have to stand up and push it for him. Like, Hen, you don't hear that shit. But he was the homie, dog. You know what I'm saying?
But these are those things we talk about, that difference of the kind of DJ you're talking about, though,
Right.
Tony.
Yeah.
Because I love what you were telling us earlier about, like, so Dre had went out, but Dre's style, he was known for these 4-track, multi-track mixes that we hear from his Rhodium mixtapes.
Right.
He was doing that on the air.
Him and Yella. Him and Yella.
But
yeah.
you got brought on to KDAY to mix live on the air.
Right. Because Frost told them that I do all that shit live, and they didn't believe it. So then I kept my coffin, and my uncle made me in the trunk of the car, went upstairs, brought it down, put it on bought a B36 Vega, because when you didn't have a stand, you
put it
used
on the
that.
speaker. Yeah.
Put that woofer down there, put it down, plugged in Frost's box.
Radio. Boombox.
Boombox. Yeah.
And I did it. And I did the mix. I did the exact mix.
Of the tape they had.
The tape they had. Because that's how precise I was. I can mimic my mixes exactly always.
You were blending, you were cutting, you were doing doubles.
And even those blends
triple
and the
threats.
doubles were all thought out
Right.
for radio.
Yeah.
And then I applied them at the club because people that heard me on the radio were requesting me to do that, how I did that.
They
It
wanted
ain't much. And then all of my purple life. It ain't much with the
Yeah.
thing. And people were requesting me to do that. Because
That's
I was
crazy.
it was like,
That
wow,
song's
that's
got
crazy. You did that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? From the exotic city into glamorous life and scratching those words into that. People wanted me to do those exact moves and shit.
Yeah. I remember that move. All of my purple life. All of my purple
Yeah,
life.
no,
I've
I
been
would
looking
use
for
Sheila.
a dream.
All of my purple life,
Yeah.
bigger, it ain't much, but
Right.
because it was Sheila and Prince and
Yeah.
all that was going through my head, creating those things. So people that would have my mixtapes, and people that would hear me on the radio wanted me to do that.
Yeah.
So I kept that even when I went live, and I tried to give them that experience.
So back to what Babs was saying. So you had Henji,
And he was there, him and Evil.
Evil was also KDAY Mixmaster.
Yeah, him and Hen would
Right,
come in, and
right.
then but they would never have records, and they just were there hustling too. They were trying to get records. They were going to get free records from KDAY. That's all they really wanted to do.
Right.
And then they were with Ice doing their thing
Right.
and trying to do something with that.
Right.
So Ice was out of that David Storrs situation. Now he's with Henry and Evil.
Right.
And they had done Spin Master record and all that.
Right.
In the middle of conversation, Ice comes to one of the tapings that we're doing for Saturday night with Hen and Evil. Ice knew us from the street.
Right.
So he was always on his toes when he was around us. And our boy, he knew it was popping.
Yeah.
He knew we had it popping.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he came to KDAY. He was just trying to, hang out with Hen and them. Or Hen and Evil may have wanted him to do a routine and try to see if Ice could do something or voice it.
Right.
Something like that.
Right.
He's talking about trying to get a record deal. We start talking about his record. We got to do a record. And I'm like, hey, man, I can get you a record deal. When? You can't get no record deal. I call right now. Unknown's trying to sign people.
Right.
I don't know who. Unknown DJ. And he was like, man, but I'll call him right now. I called Unknown from KDAY's phone. Told him, hey, Ice is here. He needs a record deal. I told Ice, I lied and told him I could probably get you like 10,000. Ice was like, man, if you can give me 10,000, man, that would be dope.
Which again is a big deal at that time.
Yeah. Right. So Unknown drove to the radio station, went downstairs, talked to Ice, and we did Dog in the Wax.
Unknown DJ.
Dog in the Wax.
who happens to be the owner of Techno Hop Records, and he produced 808 Beats, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And then basically Ice, Dog in the Wax, and what was the other one? Well, 6 in the morning.
6 in the morning.
You don't quit.
Yeah, you don't quit.
You don't quit.
Then 6 in the morning.
6 in the morning was on the B side of either you don't quit.
Quit.
Or you don't quit. Right. Okay. So now you had them. How did you start recruiting other KDAY Mixmasters? Obviously, like Joe Cooley, M Walk.
These guys were showing up at events, and they would, before we go live on radio, some of them would ask me, or somebody come and tell me. You had the homie that would come and tell you, hey, man, this is my little homie right there. He's dope.
Right.
People knew me. If you told me he's dope, and you're telling me he's dope, he better be dope.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they would go and play. They would come in, let them do a little set or do. Mind you, they didn't have a lot of records. They would, they could only carry the 5 or 8 records they had.
Right.
M-Walk used to get dropped off at the Radiotron and stand on the side of the turntables. He was a young kid, and just sit there. And I'd turn around, and he'd have 55 records out of my crates. He was thinking of what he would play. I didn't know. He would tell me he was a DJ, but I never let him play. He would just be there, and he was just trying to soak it up in weeks. And then he would get there and be attentive, help me unload stuff too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Get my stuff in order, the wires, man. He would be there attentively, helping. His mom sometimes would be outside, though.
Oh, waiting for him. Yeah.
Waiting for him. And then he'd be standing next to the turntables, watching me do my thing. And then eventually, a couple weeks, 3-4 weeks, you want to get on? Go ahead. Before anybody was there, while I'm still doing business in front, I think I was setting up the soda cans to start selling soda because I didn't sell no liquor at Radiotron. None of that stuff went down. So did that. And he got on. I heard him playing. And he loved Release Yourself. And he just started beep, 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 beep. It's like, damn, you're dope. And he started coming regularly. Next week, I let him play. Like he played. It was packed. Radiotron was this big, and if you're lucky, if you can walk by somebody. No chairs, no tables.
For people who don't know what we're talking about, Radiotron, if you guys watch the movie Breaking, that's pretty much, that was Radiotron. That's where like you see Ice-T rapping.
The first Breaking.
Yeah,
the first
Glove.
Breaking. Yeah. That's where you. That's
that was their home. The Glove. That's why Glove is in I Feel For You. Shaka Khan. That was all filmed in the radio. The radio show.
So would you say you, Jammin Gemini, you said Henji, Evil E, M-Walk.
M-Walk came on later on.
Right.
M-Walk.
What about Julio? When did Julio?
M-Walk, Julio, they come on around the same time.
Okay. Right.
And Joe
Cooley.
Those 3.
Okay.
You know?
And then eventually you got.
We had DJ Romeo.
He started,
And he was just the homie that was always with M-Walk, I believe, all the time. And then we just made him a Mixmaster because he was always there at every event, helping.
Right.
And he was another dude that was street successful and helping out M-Walk.
Right.
Joe had his boy backing him up,
Right.
driving him around and getting him whatever he needed to get. Because now they needed money.
Right.
Yeah.
Not everybody could afford to turntables, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not in that era.
Right.
You know, say $4.99 a turntable was a lot of money plus tax.
Right.
And the mixers were $289 for the 1650.
Right.
The new mark. Yeah.
Then you needed speakers and amps, and you know, it was no joke back then.
Right. Of course.
So you know, different.
Then of course you also had what I believe Traysky.
Then Traysky, Aladdin,
Ralph M.
and Ralph M.
Okay.
They come in their next wave.
Okay.
And DJ Sticks, but he went to the military. He was Mixmaster for a little while,
Right.
beforehand and during Hen. So then he had to go because he decided to join the military and jam.
Right.
And then Hen stays. Evil goes on with Ice
Right.
to do other stuff they make. You Don't Quit.
Right.
Katie didn't want to play it. I played it. Got in trouble. You know, just, you know.
Right. And
What a powerful crew at that time, you know what I'm saying? Like to have all those individuals around you at the time. And I know that you were saying off air that when you guys recorded your mixes, you guys would record them like in front of each other. And if someone messed up, then
I would edit whatever.
yeah.
I didn't mess up. I never mess up. I had my shit thought out. There was you never heard me mess. If you heard mess up, it's just somebody spiced that
Right.
Right.
on YouTube or something. Not me. You never hear me no bullshit like that. Never.
Talk
Ever.
about it, Tony. Talk about
Ever.
it.
But I would sit there across from the table because you had to monitor in case they missed a bad word on a new record or something was too bad, catchable. You know, I'd write down the time on the reel so I can go back at it. And if it was early, 20 minutes, 30 minutes in, stop. I'd do it over. Start again. That's boo-boo. You can't do that. You can't start that mix like that.
No
Mix
horse,
that
no
step.
horses galloping, none of that.
No shoes in the drawer, bro.
No.
Shoes in the dryer.
So basically, all the mixes that we hear on the Mixmaster show, where you pre-record it, but you guys record it, but you guys mixed it live, recording
Yes.
it, and then you guys.
Yeah, just hit record and mix.
Okay.
No punching, no nothing.
No, nothing.
Oh.
Now, and then Battlecat was also right.
Yes, then Battlecat, I believe he came in with Traysky
Right.
and Aladdin 2 in that wave.
Okay.
But Battlecat was in already where we were leaving. KDAY was pretty much done.
Right.
Battlecat becomes a Mixmaster and stays in the Mixmasters. When we left KDAY, because KDAY didn't want to pay us, I asked for money for the guys because we weren't getting paid. Nobody in the Mixmasters got paid. They got paid to go to our events,
Right.
and I broke them off from my pocket or from the door, or Greg Mack pay me, and then I would pay.
Let's talk about
guys.
Greg Mack. So, okay, obviously, you off the air too. Also, you told us about like, it was always says the Greg Mack Attack KDAY Mixmasters.
Right.
You said something that originally you guys weren't even called the Mixmasters. He wanted to name it what? What was it?
Well, not originally. That was his. I think it was Mack Attack Marines or some shit like that.
Mack Attack Marines. Thank
So-
God you didn't get called that.
I didn't know till I didn't know
Right.
till I got there and had a conversation with the man because that was the first time me meeting Greg Mack.
Right.
So I go into KDAY. I'm walking down the stairs and Bobcat's walking up the stairs.
Right.
He had a T
Right.
coming up the stairs. He sees me. He goes, "Oh shit! If you're gonna be in this shit, I'm gonna be a part of this shit." This is what Bobby tells me.
Right.
We already have a street mutual relationship, and my boys were with Bobby, and we knew what was up. Big Daddy Productions was booking Bobby, booking me. He was the only brother booking me
Right.
to go into the hood to go play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So me and Bobby just clicked it.
This is after you had challenged him at the
Yeah,
spot.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is way after. You guys are
Couple
already
years
cool.
later.
Yeah,
Maybe
you
a
guys,
year
you guys
later.
are homies now at this
Yeah,
point.
we're not homies. We just hadn't seen each other ever since.
Right.
We saw ourselves walking. He walking up and I'm walking down. I'm like, what are you doing here? I told him, well, what are you doing here? They asked me to come for some meeting for something. He goes, oh, if you're going to fuck with this, I'm going to be a part of this shit.
And so this
I didn't
is-
know
this
that he already had a meeting with.
Greg Mack. So this is Greg Mack is trying to like put
Because
together
Greg Mack
this.
had just found out. I mean, Greg Mack was doing his homework and found out that Bobcat was the man.
Right.
He was going to have Bobcat no matter what. He was going to be
A part of
the leader.
Right.
Bobby was going to be the man. And I guess Bobby told him, man, you can't call that shit no Marines. You got to call it the Mixmaster. Why don't you call it the Mixmasters? And that's how they get the name, the Mixmaster.
So for people who don't know, Greg Mack is a honor personality on KDAY. You might have heard his voice on Eazy-E's radio as an unknown personality, but he was pretty much an unknown personality on KDAY.
Kind of the voice of KDAY.
Yeah, pretty much. He was the voice of
prime
KDAY.
time.
You know,
Well, he could transform it into what it was.
right,
Hip-hop.
right,
Anything hip hop in LA, that was because Greg Mack did.
right.
Right.
And then obviously he brought in the KDAY Mixmasters.
Right.
And then you were pretty much in charge of the KDAY Mixmasters.
After when it became apparent that nobody owned turntables,
Right.
KDAY didn't have no turntables.
Okay.
Everybody's records were either skipping or fucked up.
Right.
You know, because
So you had to discipline them all.
well, yeah, you had to have that. Those crates for radio could not be touched, so you needed more than two. You needed to have multiple crates,
Right. Yeah.
Because on the radio you had to try to keep, you know,
Quality.
continuity and quality.
Quality high.
You know, and then needles and. So KDAY didn't have no turntables. KDAY made us record over the same reel. I had to go into the other office, magnetically erase our mix every week. That's why there's no KDAY mixes. Because they never really believed none of this shit was going to pop and could have gave a fuck about us and our mixes or any nostalgia. Like, we did not exist to them. And Greg was like, I'm doing my thing. And Greg was like, man, let's go get some clubs. And I can get the groups. And we can do it. And when I took Greg to the Casa, he's like, oh, shit.
Casa
we can do this with
Camino
the,
Real.
with the Hispanics, too. Me and a gentleman by the name of Louis Romo. Louis came to my house with Ernie Medina.
Ern
Dog.
Ern Dog.
Yeah.
Dog.
What's up, Ern?
Shouts to Earn Dog, Soul
Yeah.
Assassins.
So I met Julio because of Ern Dog
Ah.
and Louis. That's how I met them. They bought Julio like, hey, my homie's dope. He'll battle anybody kind of shit. Julio could tell you that story one day because I was like, he learned that day. He learned that day, that moment. Yeah, no headphones. No headphones, no nothing. Let me show you how this is done. You see, go ahead. I tried to do a Bobby. Go ahead.
I'll switch the role now.
Hey, this is Julio putting the. He went to clear.
Oh, Cybertron.
So he goes to Cybertron. Excuse me. He goes to Cybertron clear. He's shaking it for that. I was like, oh, my boy. It's gonna be a rough one for him today. And he did some cool stuff. He was nervous, but he did that.
He got
and then
busy.
He got busy. He did his little thing, and then when he was done, yeah, boy, he gives me the headphones. I'm like, took that motherfucker off. Let me show you how you break a record down. Started going to the break, boom, boom, boom,
The bass line.
and then create a song out of the song.
Yeah.
I had to just go there with him, and he was red. His face was red. But he was so dope. I told him, hey, man, they're going to have a tryout for the Mixmasters you're in.
Oh, of course, yeah, I remember this because they used to say when there were Mixmaster trials, you had to go to the whatever roller rink, and they played on the air. Is that usually how you recruit the Mixmasters?
The 3 times we did it, we did that. It was Greg Mack to do that, to get people to come to the club. Greg didn't know the difference between one DJ and he just knew who sounded good or who didn't.
Right.
But I knew where the talent was,
Right.
and I would tell them, you're in. Just come to the tryout.
So that was
Ralph
just
M didn't have to do shit.
right.
Aladdin had to battle me. At the roller rink in
With roller wheels or
Skateland?
Roll on Wheels.
Roll on
Roll on
Wheels.
Wheels.
Okay?
Okay.
So Aladdin shows up, and he knew already where that was going.
Right.
I had just come back from New York. I bust a clicker transform on him.
Right.
And he was like, and I told him, you're in anyway, so don't trip.
Right.
Right.
You're already
It was just formality, basically.
because there was hundreds of kids showing up to be
To
at
get
every
down.
tryout.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
150 and 200 would show up
Wow.
at these events, and we were supposed to put all these people on. We had to keep stretching them weekly, and here this miserable, no DJing rhythm having ass motherfuckers, or the motherfuckers that just had the look
Right.
and just couldn't mix a drink if they had to.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
you just knew. Bobcat came to the Radiotron to floss, and he just did some dope shit. He came to floss, and he knew he flossed on me on what he did. He
Right.
knew it.
Right.
But then I had to take that to another level. Then I broke down a beat. Boom, go, goom, goom, goom.
Oh, he started drumming.
Right.
And Ice was right there, and he probably won't tell you. He was right there telling Evo and Hand, look, check this shit out. Boom, boom, goom. he starts to rap while I'm breaking down a beat. Battle Cat, still dope. On there, he asked me, "Hey man, can I come fuck with you?" Or no, he just showed up next week,
Right.
and he looked at me like, "Man," because he was persistent. He wanted to get on.
Right.
He'd get on, and he'd do my records. He'd get on. Eventually, he bought his own little thing, and Walk same thing. Eventually, they had their little collection, and they were. I looked at it. They don't know I'm the same age as them, but they looked at me as an older person because I owned a car.
Yeah.
I broke bread.
Right.
Yeah.
I paid security. I had the sound system, the amps.
You had your own business already going.
Yeah, I had a record store already and everything. I was 20 years old. You know what I'm saying? So
Damn, 20?
Greg Mack was only 24
Wow.
when he did all that.
Wow.
24 at the most.
Man, I thought you cats were older,
Yeah.
way
Kids.
older.
Yeah,
man.
same here.
Kids. Do you remember your son at 24?
Yeah.
Okay, what was he doing? Was he holding businesses and doing all that already, or was he just already mature?
Just maturing. Yeah.
Okay. So imagine everything what I'm telling you now happened when we were little kids.
Yeah. Damn.
With grown men
Yeah.
handling business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So these young DJs looked at me as, "You okay?" They didn't call me the leader or nothing. I was just, I
just
had
had
the
a
car,
business.
bro, and I had the
Yeah.
records. I had whatever you needed to make the shit crack.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it.
You just-
Eventually, they made their loot and did
Right.
their thing.
Okay. Now, was there other besides the people we mentioned? I know that you said there's a couple other mixmasters. You said DJ Sticks. He was in and out. Was there other mixmasters that were in there and that were out? Like was
No.
was Hamburger Helper an official KDAY Mixmaster?
No, Hamburger Helper DJ'd with Jesse Terrero because at the club, we started working with some promoters from the South Bay or from that area, wherever, the Panorama City in that area. I believe that's their thing, right?
Right.
That's their
Their area. Yeah.
their area. So Hamburger Helper was the dude. He was the Dr. Dre of that crew.
Got you. Okay.
So they would come to the club and he was doing everything, but he was doing what we were doing. He just got it down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He got
Yeah.
that, and he was dope. He was doing his thing like us, but he was doing us
Yeah.
basically. So Jesse Terrero, from the overnight DJ guy, decides to create his own little crew and tries to rent the club and start to do his own thing, and he becomes Jesse Terrero's DJ.
Right. I see.
And then Jesse he wanted to do the high energy show because we had the high energy show and I just got too busy for me.
Right. He took
was
over
just-
whatever.
Yeah, because it was just, we had 200 people outside a radio station parking lot trying to get on the radio, bro, with a line going on the stairs to give shout outs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
And all we were trying to do is promote our club,
Right.
get free promo.
Gotcha.
Mind you, we weren't like taxing people or nothing like that. We're too young for that shit. We just wanted to be dope. We didn't have no time like, "Oh, you're going to get on my shit, you got to break me 100. None of that shit was going on.
That's one thing that I always respected and loved about you, Tony, is that not only were you dope on like the hip hop and the funk and the breaks and stuff, but you were also like part of the high energy show also too, and that's what made me.
No, we
actually-
made the high energy show. I brought freestyle music here to California. Nobody heard freestyle music here. Julio brought house music here. Humpty Vision, remember, Richard was on our street team at KDAY.
Wow,
I started.
I didn't know that.
He was a street team guy.
Wow.
So he would be there, would already set up with whatever stickers and shirt giveaway stuff, and Humpty was part of the street team. Him and AJ.
Wow.
And Humpty was part of that little scene, and then Humpty was making 4 tracks already.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah.
And he was becoming hot on
Damn.
the street. He wasn't no trick DJ or nothing, but
Right.
he was doing the hip hop,
Yeah.
not club music.
He can mix his ass off. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
he was already doing hip hop 4 tracks and shit.
Right.
He didn't get hip to the house and all that till we started playing that shit. Like, literally, we were the first record store that carried it.
What was your name of your record store?
Spin it.
Spin it right.
And what was that located?
Almani, California. Peck Road and Lower Azusa.
Okay.
And then Exodus Records opens up.
Right.
Exodus Records.
They asked me to go give lessons there on Sundays.
I bought my PDA.
That's where DJ LaRock comes from, DJ Ism.
Oh, okay. What's
LaRock
up,
was a
LaRock?
youngster going over to take lessons from me at Exodus.
I bought my Soren Vega PD18s from Exodus.
Yeah, I bought everything I had
Yeah.
from Exodus at that time.
Yeah.
But you were actually teaching a class.
Teaching a class.
A DJ class.
And then Tom one of the owners of the Exodus Records. He had a camera, VHS, this big. And then he would record the tapes, and then you can buy the tapes of me giving the classes live.
Wow.
And it was on the counter like this, 2 turntables, the students standing here, and then I would bring them one by one to do whatever they had to do and show them the technique of what, and then immediately you'd be able to assess who kind of had an idea and didn't have an idea. And then we would separate the classes, early class and little later class. And happen in a couple hours and done deal. And then you would be able to take the tape home.
Wow. That's crazy.
I didn't give lessons in my own store. I did it at their store. I didn't have the patience at my store to do it. I did it at Exodus. So they get hip to my records, my freestyle records. They start, because they had a couple of records, but I mean, I had already been playing those records, and I had those records because they were hand-given to me by my friends coming back from whatever vacation they spent this summer or whatever, and I would have the PSK, Schoolie D.
Yes.
The record was handed to me.
Julio was saying you were pretty much the person that brought all the records back from New York. I mean, we were just talking.
Every single record.
I mean, basically from BDP, Poetry, EPMD,
MC
Shan, The Bridge. You played, we were talking about Master of Ceremonies.
Dynamite.
You were, and then again, you were probably one of the first people to play breaks on the radio.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so, I mean, were you playing, say Funky Drummer, we were talking off air, you were playing the Bozo Mecco,
Feelin' James with the orange label on it.
Yeah.
Feelin' James.
Yeah.
Feelin' James with the orange label. I didn't own the album with Funky Drummer on it. That's the only place I can get Funky Drummer was on Feelin' James.
So Tony, were you? This is like you were going back to the East Coast and visiting, or?
Yeah, a couple times I went back to the East Coast visit family and Miami also, but Miami was just disco, Miami bass. You know what I'm saying? So out here, I was already established as far as DJ and stuff. So I had a cool name on the street and I did my thing, my club. What did you ask me?
I was saying like you were getting those records. Were they friends bringing them to you, or you were going to New York as well?
PSK was my boy called me from New York, tell me, yo, listen to this shit, and then you'd hear Red Alert bumping. PSK was making that green. People low it. Oh man, you gonna be? I got that.
Yeah.
I'll be there Saturday. You come back with a stack of records. My little cousin Clara was the one that brought me No Favors and Hungry for Your Love. These are the 2 high records that, because I asked her, hey, before you come try to get me whatever's cracking right now on that freestyle. So she brought me those 2 records. And I took those 2 records and put them on the radio that weekend, and they didn't sell those records here for a year. Damn. 8 months. So back to Exodus, Tom or Henry, one of them one day, I was playing Trinier. I Know You Love Me because I was the only dude that had those records. The only dude that had those records at that time, playing Debbie Deb, when her music or something, and some other, who knows what record they could probably tell you because I don't care because I had so much shit in my crates,
Yeah.
One of them looked on the record and said, oh, I came in next week and he goes, look what I got. He had 2 boxes of some new Trinier shit. I believe it was Trinier. I'm not, I don't remember. Boxes. Some of the shit and some when you used to hold me or one of them fucking records house. Oh shit, you found a distributor out here because I had a record store. We couldn't find nothing like that. No man, on the label the fucking telephone number was there and some dude answered.
Oh,
and he just sent me 2 boxes of records. He said to order them from him anytime. It was the label. Remember, the labels in New York for these records were just somebody's apartment building.
Yeah, and they used to always put the numbers on the record labels. Yeah, you're right.
And he just looked at it, got the phone number, and called New York and started getting records. Damn, made that connection. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Wild Pitch, everything Wild Pitch that I got was directly from the label. The label flew here to meet me in my record store, and I was the only record store that carried Wild Pitch records because nobody would ever carry Latinas Cookout Flavor and all that.
Got flavor.
Hey, the records were dusty on my shelves.
Right.
It sat there all because nobody bought that.
It's crazy because like if people bought the actual album of Cool G, Chill Rob G, and you flip it over, it even said this cut flavor KDAY.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was the only one playing it. And their gift to me was sending me boxes of records so I could sell them.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's it. Box and T-shirts and the stuff. So I had the only paraphernalia and the tools
Right.
for that label.
Right.
So people would have to come to DJs,
Right.
the Mixmasters, where you would drive over there for that weekend to go play those records, or at the next KDAY mix meeting that we were doing, I'd take a box and everybody feed them records.
Right.
Or if I had boxes from my store, I always, whatever was hot, I made sure everybody had it.
Right.
Because now I'm getting records way before KDAY could even imagine getting records.
Right. So you were so does that mean you also were getting like Def Jam, with the red label and stuff?
Yeah, of course I got, but that stuff was, once Beasties came here, and I believe Roger Clayton brought them here.
Right.
So they did Doodles, a show, and then they went next door to do a show with Greg. That's how dirty they were doing each other. You know what I'm saying? That's how much Roger Clayton was battling everybody and whatever they were doing.
Right.
So Beasties already made that label hot. Now everybody gets to go back and hear LL of the record he already had out.
Right.
Because some of the big hits of LL, he had already recorded those, but that's not the I Need a Beat was the one that blew up for him
Right.
on here, on KDAY. But we didn't, Roger Clayton had already brought that over here because Roger owned a record store. And Roger now, you're talking like mid 80s, Roger was already getting hip hop records, and he's a big store in that hood to go buy the jams. And still until Steve Yano started opening up the Compton Swap Meet.
Right.
So you had to go to Uncle Jam's to get heat. The Hispanic stores didn't sell any hip hop records, very little.
Right.
They just didn't.
Yeah, that's right. Steve Yano was selling over at the Rhodium in Gardena.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay.
I don't remember. I only went there a handful of times. It wasn't my area. It wasn't my thing. And it wasn't a place I didn't want to get.
As far as fuck.
No.
People outside LA don't
fuck.
realize it's a big spread out. There's like little universes out here.
And as big as the Rhodium, the Rhodium is a huge influence on the street LA culture, mixtape culture, but it was irrelevant to me because I'm older. I got businesses. I'm DJing I did other shit to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then I would hear the mixes. There goes that 4-track shit again. I'd be like, nah, I'm cool with all that.
Right.
It just wasn't for me. It had nothing to do with, it's a huge part of LA culture, but it's irrelevant to what I did and what I was doing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Same as Uncle Jam's Army.
Right.
It was irrelevant to me. I was never going to go play for them anywhere. I went to Pasadena once. They had an event, and the event lasted a few minutes, and it was a huge riot, and it was time to go. Denver Lanes lit it up. They brought all them Crips from over there, and it was what happening in Dina.
Yeah.
I'm just real talk. I'm just telling you. And we were like, we don't fit in this right here. This is their war. We got to get out. That's it.
Interesting.
And Roger wasn't gonna pay anybody any. He wasn't paying us ever.
I want to ask a question about of course you became a master of your craft early on in your career, and of course you moved on from there, from DJing to production.
Right.
And you stopped DJing, you stopped cutting, you stopped doing all that. You know, I think you went back into playing in the band a little bit.
No, I just joined the band. I just bought a drum set again. In 27 years, I didn't touch drums again. My neighbor asked me to play percussion with him because I always still play percussions in my garage. Moved to this new house. The guy comes over and goes, "Hey, is that a record or is that you playing?" It's me. "Oh, you play? You want to join a band?" "Yeah, when?" "Today, 3 o'clock. I went to next door. We did a little jazz band, Latin jazz, and I started jamming percussion. I was looking at the drum set going, damn, I miss playing drums. Really, my wife was like, no, you can't handle drums too loud. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? She was like, you crazy. But when I got married, I was with my wife. She only saw me play drums once or twice maybe at a recording session with B Real.
Okay.
She went with me to Hollywood once, and there was a drum set there, and then I was getting busy, and B didn't even know I played drums. He saw me doing that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So she didn't. That didn't matter to her.
So the reason why I'm asking the question is because I know like you stopped cutting for a while, but then I saw you years later, like in the early 2000s, and you started DJing again, and you started learning all the new cuts. Like,
well, yeah, Greg Mack called me and said that we're going to give him a show on Power 106. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I remember you came up to and you said, Chalk, if you're not going anywhere, you said if you're not going anywhere, you can stay in here for a little bit, because I need to get warmed up.
I didn't know how to use the mixer.
Right. So I remember being in there with you while you were actually relearning it again.
That was after the first times I went on with the CD players that were
It
there.
was a CD, CDJs.
You guys had CDJs,
Yeah, we had
right?
CDJs on the side of the turntables.
I borrowed some
Uh-huh.
the week before because I never used a CDJ in my life. I didn't know what the fuck that.
Yeah.
I see people use them, but I was
Like CD turntables.
that ain't gonna happen for me. I
Right,
knew
right.
people used them. I mean, I knew what was up.
Right.
That wasn't for me. I'm a DJ with turntables, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. Shout out to whoever pushes whatever the fuck you want to do. That's your business. But me, But I went there, and that's what you guys had. So I was like, wow, this is deep.
Yeah.
So when I went home, I started burning.
Everything to CDs.
I already had a burner. I own a studio, so I can burn
Yeah.
CDs. I was hip to MP3s, compression. I was in a technology thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I had been already converting a lot of my
Your music
collection
Right.
for years. I've been doing that for a couple of years before already, more than that. Since 1999, probably, I was already transferring all my collections and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was ready. You know what I'm saying?
You were ready to
So I
make the jump.
So I went over there with the CDs, and I didn't understand it. Mixer didn't do that, and I was like, I can't do this. A couple times, and that's probably why I was like, I don't know what the fuck. And I even told him, so what do we do here? I mean,
Yeah.
how's this shit crack?
remember that.
Because I knew he was in charge of what was cracking there. You know what I'm saying?
right.
He was like, man, just do whatever you want to do. All right, fuck it.
Yeah.
You know? So doing that, Ralph M showed up and bought me the mixers you guys all.
Vestex.
The
I think
Vestex.
Yeah, it was a Vestex back then. Mhm.
I never used a Vestex in my life. Not those kind. I never used a cut. What do you call that?
The curve.
The curve.
I didn't know what that was.
Right.
Because I
To make it sharper or to make it.
I didn't know that. That's how come these DJs were on the next level.
Right.
Because I couldn't process how you could cut those sounds. When you spend hours and hours doing something, you know you hit a peak.
Yeah.
You know now that it's not physically possible to do something unless you mechanically get something.
Yeah.
Right.
And I didn't know that that's what they were doing. And then he tells me, no, Tony, hit the button and then see how it does this? It's like, whoa, what a fucking trip. Then I go to Guitar Center. They gave me, not Scratch Live, but some other Scratch. Who knows
Oh,
what the
Final
fuck.
Scratch.
That shit. Because E-Dub tells me, man, get Final Scratch. I bought that shit home and set in my top of my dresser for like 2 days. I went back to trade that shit in for something else I wanted. And then somebody had told me about Scratch Live. I bought Scratch Live, Serato. I got on it that night, read the manual, the little booklet that came.
Yeah.
Put my records in there, cut right away that night, and I was like, oh, it's a wrap. Then you and Mello come to my house telling me, oh, we been had that shit, but we don't really fuck with it that much, but it's what we're doing.
Right.
I was like, oh, if you're all doing that. So I just got on it, and then I just read it, and I figured out how to make more. And then people would come to my house to learn how to use Serato.
What's even crazier, to add to what Chalk was saying, is in terms of techniques, because you said about you didn't understand the scratches. Once Mello and I kind of showed you the flare and the crabs and the stuff, like about a week later.
That's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
He's the one that explained to me it was kind of like you were explaining, well, DJ-ism comes and tells me, look, it's a terror with da-da-da-da-da. Right. That didn't mean shit for me because I did it and I tried every physical possible way mathematically to do it. You're not telling me something.
Yeah. Something's not making sense.
He comes and explains to me, you start here, open.
Open fader, yes.
And then you close.
Yep.
You weren't doing backwards, right?
No, that was
Fader
Mello.
flip.
Mello does reverse. Yeah, the
Hamster.
Right, so he was irrelevant to tell me anything. It was irrelevant.
Yeah.
Rhett immediately tells me, no, you got to start open. And it's kind of like, and he's trying to explain to me the best he could with what he could, and clicked.
Yeah, because I remember seeing you like he said a week after, and you're like, "Oh look, Chuck," and I was like, "Damn, how you get all that so fast?"
Practice, man.
Yeah,
But
you're Tony G.
You got compulsive for a week.
Yeah.
Look, Julio was there. He even explained it to us as like, dude, Tony got that shit down real quick, and he would always tell us that like, whatever you touch, you'd master it.
You perfect it.
You're perfect, and you'll get it until you'll keep on doing it and do it until you get it. And then
staying away from drugs, staying away from alcohol,
right.
and directing all the shit that makes you do all that
Right.
into what you like to do.
Right.
It's what helps you. It's the same thing.
That's the truth.
Right.
It's the same fucking thing.
That's the secret.
It's a secret.
That's the secret.
If
sauce
you have
right
impulsivities or you got problems,
there. Focus.
a good way to help you get better is to focus on what it is that you really like to do.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, besides all these awesome stories and gems, Tony, I think that's my biggest takeaway from our talk, is because I think of all I'm lucky enough to like. I'm just surrounded by super creative homies all the time. Even with my rap group, I think about Evidence and Rocka and these dudes, and I'm like, that's our biggest common denominator. I can look around at my homies and say, yeah, they've lost their mind on some music.
Yeah.
Like
Definitely.
they've sacrificed everything and put music first at times.
Have you seen Ralph M, dog? His trunk is just records. That's all the guy does, bro.
Yeah, man.
Everywhere we go, he'll show up and he's like, he got 5 bags of records.
Ready to go.
Ready to go. And he's like, check this out. And you know, he's got years, so he's flipping.
Yeah.
Right.
He's flipping. There it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's beyond generations, though, Tony. I mean, and you know, I think about guys like Percy P. Like he's still outside the club selling CDs. You know what I'm saying? I think of my son, I think of Chalk's son. It's beyond generations. It's this obsessive.
Was Ralph M's friend in high school, right?
Right.
In junior high. Ralph M's having problems in school with somebody. The older dudes are sweating him. Him and Rocka take a train or bus to Almani to my record store. Mm-hmm. Ralph has to tell me what's going on. Ralph's telling me, Rocka's standing there, this big kid, big ass kid. He didn't talk about rapping or nothing. I knew he was going to do something with Ralph at that time or whatever they're doing. He's standing there like, man, I'm trying to tell him to ignore it because Ralph is like, I can't take it no more. Basically, I was going to get a couple homies go over there and fuck somebody's daddy up and make it crack. Because he knew he could count on me for that.
Yeah.
Because he was young, man. Ralph was only 17 or something, 16. Mm-hmm. This was last year or whatever, 15. I think Ralph and Tracy and them got in at 15. Mm-hmm. A lot of them was probably 14 or something. Damn. Little kids. And a lot of could have been no more than 20 when he won the fucking seminar, bro. Maybe less than that.
Yeah.
These are children already, like, seasoned.
Yeah.
So, I'm about to go to L.A., Venice, San Vicente, in that area to go, because that's where they were from. They were there.
Yes.
They're like
in the
Med
hood.
City.
Rocka's like, man, I told him, man, but because Rocka was helping him, backing him up. You know what I'm saying? That was his boy, Ralph.
Right.
I'm like, no, fuck that. We'll go over there. We're going to fuck somebody up. It's the only way they're going to leave you alone.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how I met Rocka. I didn't see Rocka till years later, and then one day you got
Worst comes to worst.
No.
Oh. With Ghostface, right?
Which
What?
one? Ghostface.
And
No,
you
which
mentioned
song?
your name.
There was a song. Oh, I know he's talking about what song. I don't remember. I'm trying to remember it. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the girl sings in the hook and she says "Babu," and that's on Dr. Buzzard's sample.
Oh, Tommy
She's-
Mottola.
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about the duck season, Mick?
And he goes, "Ghostface Killer," and you cut on one of those records, didn't you? No.
I'm not sure.
I don't know, but it might be a mix. He might be talking about the duck season mix. Did you put?
No. You had a record out with somebody, and you scratched something, and then I see
Rocka's on there?
Rocka's on there, and then I said, "That's the kid that came with Ralph M to my store." That's where I was going.
It must be the
You finally connected it years later that Rocka raps.
right.
Yeah.
Dilate. It might be a dilated record.
Yes.
It's great. Tony, like, you know, our conversations, I think of all these people you're mentioning, like that, who you know, from Louis Freeze to Block
Yeah.
Yes.
to Rocka to Ralph M. And it goes beyond DJing, man, what you've meant to this community and culture here in LA,
For
man,
real.
for many years.
I appreciate that.
Even outside too, man.
Yeah.
I met you in Bakersfield, man. You know, when the Baker Boys brought you down when I was 16 years old.
I remember.
And you know, it's just what Babs is saying, like what you mean to this culture is everything for us, man.
Man, you guys, it's incredible. I mean, and I do got to give a shout out. I mean, Mello, all you guys. Mello's always
Mello
looked
D.
out. You guys were all dope, unique. But that's what's so dope about y'all. You're so different, and so your expertise is in fields shows who you are.
Thanks, Tony.
Like
you,
what
Tony.
each one of you, from radio, to trick mixing, to creativity, to live, to creating things, to J-Rock, just funky. The dude that always got the whitest T-shirt on at every event.
He's not even here to.
I mean, that's Come on, man.
When Jay made the crew, I mean, it's almost like we patterned the Junkies after the Mixmasters because we thought,
sure.
because you guys were like gods, the crew.
But Jay is a record connoisseur, bro.
He has problems. That's a compulsive. Yeah. Was one of them other ones?
I think he's above y'all, but he's your homie, and you don't see the full. I mean, I know y'all see it.
No,
but I had a few conversations with him
crazy.
and Mello.
Yeah.
And probably when you were there, we had one of them two-shot Tuesdays or some shit. And just a couple words with him, a couple things, I'm a little older than y'all.
For sure.
I throw some shit out there just to see what people answer and how I got to do that. It's just something that's in me. I want to see how far you reach.
Yeah.
And he caught shit.
He's a sharp dude.
Record-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about that. I'm not talking about other stuff. He's a man. He does. I'm saying like musically and record-wise.
Yeah.
You all have incredible talent.
No, Jay's crazy.
But there's just something
he's a little
I've
cuckoo.
thrown at him. Some shit that only someone a little older than me would probably. And musically, like if Jay was like a drummer or a musician, yeah, musicians. They remembered all those details in records. Throw something out there, he's smacking right back. Eat this, bam, eat this, bam. So you see the creativity, and I think that's what made the Junkies so unique.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what made y'all so unique. And then being able to control your impulses to get to this beautiful place.
No, for sure.
And now help them other kids that got impulsiveness and
That's what we're here for.
their anxieties and stuff, and let it all out, bro,
Yeah.
on that.
And one thing I say about all these guys that I look back in retrospect to, Tony, is like they all individually fucked my head up in some way.
Right.
They I whatever it was when I first hung out with each one of them, they left me scratching my head like, man, I got to talk to him more about like that thing he showed me or that record he put me up on or that technique. Like I got to call this fool and teach me what that. You know what I mean? There's this.
The only old school, because I never saw you guys play. So the only thing I have in my picture was the day you guys came up to the beat, and Julio told me we're gonna have these kids on. Told him, let me know what's cracking. Let me know what you think. It's recorded. Okay. And me and my boy Kevin up there, and Julio gets you guys on. I believe Jay went first. I don't know if you went second or you went first. You were there, right?
I was there, yeah.
So and you did something, and you went cut. And I remember my boy Kev. I'm like, I'm hearing it going, wow. And my boy Kev looking through the glass, he looked at me, he told me, like, it's my turn to step back. Shit, you know. These are my boys more. They know me.
Yeah, yeah.
They know that I was already away from that for a while anyway. I was doing a little thing with the Ruthless show with.
Yeah, you were doing with Easy.
Radio.
You did a radio
Ruthless
show with
Radio.
Easy.
Yeah, scratch the little shit. We were trying, but we didn't have no. Me and Julio bought those records. Easy bought them for us the day before the show, bro. We hadn't been DJing. It's a reality. Me and Julio made the demo tape on the floor. We didn't even have a crate. Nothing. All that shit was scattered everywhere. But my boy looking through the window, remember where Julio was sat, and then you had the glass, the little DJ room.
Yep.
And my boy he looked at me, he went like this. And Julio was like, my boy looked at me, Babs, and he went like this. Mello, Jay, you were there, and you guys just did something so dope, each one of y'all, and so creative.
Yeah.
That's when it's like it's a new world. You have to know when to step the fuck back.
Shit's fucking me up right now. Totally.
No, it's the truth. You gotta know when to step.
This is crazy.
You gotta know when to step back. You gotta know your limit.
Yeah.
Meaning not physically, but I didn't have the tools to go any farther. If I would have been more interested in DJing forever. There was too much of I peaked. There was nothing else I can possibly think of or do on a turntable. Unless I started doing dumb shit. turning it around, putting duct tape, turning a needle, jumping on the thing, and,
No, but
you know,
scratch
cutting
with
my
your shoe.
nuts. Yeah, you know, stupid shit.
Nah, but you know what though, Tony? I think
I mean,
we
that's
all,
cool for the tricks, but,
but big bro, we appreciate like the evolution. Like,
Yeah.
if I had a question about Ableton, you're probably one of the first people I still go talk to.
Well, any
Like, you know what I'm
program.
saying?
I've just been on.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I converted from analog to digital long time ago.
We know. We
Long
remember.
time ago.
But
you've been
speaking
putting
of
us
that,
up on game for years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's talk about, people might not know this, but Tony's a dope producer. He made 2 classic
Yes.
hip hop classic records from the West Coast. Kid Frost La Raza,
Mm-hmm.
Mellow Man Ace Mentriosa.
Whoop whoop.
Yes, those man.
Whoop whoop was the first record to play
Oh,
on the
Whoop,
East Coast.
that's right.
Oh, Cam.
DJ,
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
DJ Pooh. Yeah, Whoop.
It's
I
not
played-
DJ Pooh
I played
Cam.
the shit out
That's
that
DJ
record.
Pooh's name on the record. Me and Pooh did that record.
Right.
Pooh didn't even see us.
Yeah.
We did that
I mean,
record.
I remember us
Yeah.
talking about that
Yeah, let's
years
talk
ago.
We made that record. That's our record.
So
Yeah.
people, if you don't know, this is the guy that produced La Raza, Kid Frost La Raza, Mellow Man Ace Mentriosa, and Cam Whoop Whoop.
And we had other songs with Frost that we got on.
Right,
on
but those
Power,
are like
of
those
course.
are like
Right.
3 classic West Coast records, right?
We did
there.
our first house music with Bobby and Erndog. Erndog, I told you he was the keyboard player doing the whole shit.
Yeah.
Erndog was doing it.
Aaron showed me the videos of that. I remember
We did
that.
all that, dog. House music, freestyle. We did whatever we could, and we got paid and tried to make.
And that's what made someone like me, coming from Bakersfield, want to be a well-rounded DJ. Hearing someone like you who was not just nice in hip-hop
Right.
or turntablism at the
Well,
time.
where do you think
know
the
what I'm
Bakers got it from?
saying? I know, and I grew up with them. You know
Rest
what I'm
in
saying?
peace. Their mother used to drive them to
Terry.
my house from Bakersfield, bro.
I know. I was
Drop
there.
them off at my. These are little kids. These weren't. How old were they? Chuck? 14, 13,
Oh,
16?
Yeah. Man, 85.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eric was 16.
Yeah, so me and Eric are the same age.
Okay, so 16.
So
Nick
16.
was 13, 15, 13.
13.
Getting dropped off by their mother, driving
From Bakersfield.
just
Yeah.
because they hired me one time and they liked me
Yeah.
and they wanted to do what we do.
People just in context. He's talking about the Baker Boys.
Yes.
Yes. Eric and Nick V.
So
Yes.
dope. Shouts out to Nick and
And they
Nick.
would
Yeah.
be dropped off at my house and practice and do whatever they could. And
Yeah.
Julio showed Eric how to make beats on a SP1200 there in my house.
Yeah. And then they
Back
come
on.
back and I'd hook up with them and they show me everything, you know what I'm
And
saying?
you heard them on the radio.
Yep.
And now they evolved.
Mm-hmm.
What we did at KDAY, they took it to that other level with
Yep.
drops and comedy. They kind of took the whole KDAY format
They did.
and they flipped it their way.
Yep.
Morning radio is Bobby, Jimmy, and the Critters, Russ Park.
Yes.
KDAY.
For sure.
All morning
Salute.
radio everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
People
Everywhere.
don't know that.
All
People
mixed
don't know
shows.
that outside of Los Angeles.
All mixed shows were based on our formula that went to the Baker Boys formula,
Mm-hmm.
that went to your show formula for the hip hop specialty.
Mm-hmm. Friday Night Flavors. Mm-hmm. Fantastic Four. Yep.
Okay. Specialty.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
All radio in the United States of America.
Yes.
I don't know about Europe.
Talk about it.
It's all that.
Yes.
It all came from KDAY,
Yes.
Baker Boys.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yep. Yep. You
Correct.
own it. You own it.
You, Julio G, all the West Side, throw up the W, everything West Coast,
Julio all day.
Julio kept it alive.
Yeah, he did.
Or there would be no West Coast.
That is the
Because
truth. Ruth.
Power wasn't allowed to play certain, or not allowed or not allowed. It wasn't what was cracking for them.
Right.
And Julio brought that back and made it pop again.
Yes.
Yes.
And is the only one that looked out for West Coast records
Yeah.
after your show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, for sure.
Because you were a hip hop influence
Yeah.
more than you were a West Coast. And the most West Coast that I heard on Flavors was West Coast hip hop
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Like a Visionaries or a Dilated or Jurassic 5. You know what I'm saying? We were definitely representing for the West Coast hip hop scene
Yes.
out here in Los Angeles, for sure. Yes.
So people mix that up with the West Coast gangster shit. They think everything is West Coast gangster shit, but you're missing all the other West Coast shit.
yeah.
Right.
And that's just the way people are, you know, they gravitate and make up their own ideas. And unfortunately, radio, I think, played a part in breaking all that up
Yeah, for
because
sure.
the music changed and it is what it is. But Julio played a humongous role on the West Coast.
Yes,
and then,
for sure.
come on, dog. Big Boy's first night on the year was with Howard doing drops for him to talk. All the instrumental beds. The beds were and go shop at blah, no bullshit. We was doing fucking that was Big Boy's first show.
Yeah.
Guess what? Everybody started copying us. And using breaks to do interviews. Everybody started copying. Nobody did that. The DJ spun the instrumental of whatever records were cracking and other shit. But we were using breaks and funk and that West Coast shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody copied us.
Yeah. Wow.
So, I mean, it doesn't matter. You don't have to like us. And you don't have to think we're dope or anything. But anybody that you do think is dope is only dope because you got it from somebody that watched us. Or somebody that watched somebody that watched or heard us. That's just it.
Church.
You can't change that.
Yeah.
I don't care how dope your homie is from what state or what part of the world. He's only dope because it's the truth, man. Am I lying? Somebody
Hell
tell
no,
me wrong.
you're not lying.
KDAY Mixmasters, y'all better, if you don't know,
Started there.
Well,
Started there. I just gave you the route
Right.
to what the world is,
Yeah.
what America does. American radio. Are we on American radio right now? Are we on the radio over on terrestrial radio playing at this moment?
No.
Why? Money, business,
Yeah.
corporations,
Yeah.
politics, yeah.
raping. Basically,
Yeah.
it's the truth. It's the truth. And still, till they stopped using mixed show DJs, Chuck, how much were they paying the mixed show DJs, bro?
Man. Well, it started off good when it first started, but then like minimum wage,
In
man.
these last couple of years.
The last couple of years is like minimum wage.
The radio stations are calling us right now. Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they could call all they want.
Yeah.
But you did that for a long time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you saw the whole, from the beginning.
To when I was on my way out, that's when the whole payment thing started happening, and I was actually leaving at a good time. Didn't know it at the time, but I was leaving at a good time.
Right.
Yeah, because it all changed after I left. You know, not saying it because I left, but it changed after I left for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And more power to the people that get obsessed and that's what fame does to you, and that's what your name being heard on the radio does to you. It'll make you work for peanuts.
Yeah.
It'll make you do anything just to say that you are there, and then you're still broke as fuck.
Yeah.
All right.
With no talent, no nothing, but they make you look and feel like you have talent, and they eat up your ego and they destroy people. You know what I'm saying?
That's sure.
And that's how it works.
Yeah, that's true.
Unfortunately, that's how it works. But we've all experienced it one way or another.
Yeah.
We were from the beginning and all the way till that end. And then when we come back and we do the power show and then Julio goes back on the new KDAY, come on, dog. We were trying to do some other bullshit.
Yeah.
You don't tell us what to play.
Yeah.
Radio's dead.
You don't tell
Radio's
us
dead,
what to
man.
play.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I love XM radio because I can hear the same station drive from here to Vegas and back.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, if Boston, the group Boston, didn't record a record, there'd be no 70s radio station on XM. Because that's all you hear is the same motherfucking 3 songs. Where you know that it's just people that have no idea about music or the culture of music that are in charge of setting these programmings up and these algorithms and bullshit.
Yeah.
There's
Bullshit.
no uniqueness and authenticity to none of it. God bless it, because I get to hear, you know, that 1 or 2 records that are cracking and then they just fuck it up with something that nobody ever wanted to hear. Anyway,
It wasn't dope in the first place.
never dope in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah.
But your little eccentric, sorry ass, daddy's little boy that got a lot of loot and got you in, had to play that one record that only you and your one boo-boo homie, and you fucked up the experience for me driving just 45 minutes, bro. I can't even take a 45-minute drive without somebody fucking up. Can you play 1 hour straight of some heat?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
1 hour. That's all we asked for. That's the average traffic for us to get anywhere in this motherfucker.
For real.
Hey, they need to put a compulsive person in charge over there. You know what I'm saying, man?
You want to win, right?
Yeah.
You want to win, right? We came from winning teams. Remember this.
Yeah.
Everything we were a part of, we won.
That's true.
Whether it was DJing, radio,
Yep.
production, we maxed everything out.
We did. Yes.
So whatever's been going on since we're out, it's not number one. Sure as fucking number two either. And you're lucky if any of it is even in 10, in
Yeah.
the top 10.
Yeah.
All those investors are getting got. All that money that's getting pushed through there, they're getting burned. We made it hot.
Yeah.
When we played your record, you sold records.
Yeah.
When we did a commercial, your business cracked.
Yeah.
And they could say whatever you want. Oh, there's just so much of it now. And no, there's so much shitty stuff.
It's a lot of that. Yeah.
Shitty stuff.
Yeah.
I want to say, I would like to say, like a lot of the KDAY Mixmaster, you know, people that they didn't know they were KDAY Mixmasters, but they're, you know, like Battle Cats is a well-respected producer. He always credits you. Just recently, Joe Cooley, you know, everybody knows who Joe Cooley is. That's a DJ, a hip hop DJ. He credits you on Facebook, saying that if it wasn't for you, he wouldn't be a KDAY Mixmaster.
He just said that too. Yeah.
But that's a pleasure to hear someone so talented. All of them are just so talented.
And then when I'm,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then also, I want to also add, like we had Jazzy Jeff here, and a lot of people didn't know that you were in a battle for world supremacy in the New York seminar during the same time as Jazzy Jeff. There was no videotapes, obviously, but we always heard rumors that you were in the battle, and you were in the battle with Jazzy Jeff. And Chalk can contest to this because we asked him when he was here, says, "Yo, were you in the battle with Tony G?" And I remember him saying, "Man, let me tell you, but that guy is in. If you know, he basically bigged you up and stuff."
That was nice of him. I almost joined the group. The manager wanted to have a black and a Hispanic DJ DJing for Fresh Prince. So when we brought them to Reseda Roller Rink, and believe it or not, that was the day Bobcat and Egypt went, because they were coming to do Girls of the World Ain't Nothing But Trouble at the Reseda Roller Rink. We had just flown them in. The manager that had saw me at the battle, he was also working the records. I was a radio dude. You know what I'm saying? Rewind, Dope walking in to go get my tag and having Red Alert in front of me getting his tag at the New York seminar, and Red turning around with a radio promo guy telling him, "Hey, this is the guy in LA. You need to get him the record." And Red Alert making that plug for me.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Red, hey, this guy. I bought that record here, Girls of the One Up Metro, because of
Red Alert.
Red Alert. And Red saying, "Hey, this is the dude over there. You got to get with him."
The original version, though. There's two versions.
Yeah, the original version.
Yeah.
The original
With the blue white label.
Zakia or whatever. And
Word Up Records.
Word Up Records.
Whatever.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't fucking remember. But, yeah, so I probably changed the subject because I was going to go into some foul shit, and I didn't want to go foul on him.
No, but I mean, you were in a battle. You explained to us off the air about like how you were battling a French DJ Cheese or
No, Cheese, he got took out. He was the champion DJ. He got took out. The French DJ at that time had battled. Cutmaster DC took him out, and it was going to be him and Jeff in the finals, and me and somebody else in the finals. It was over. All I had to do was eat this one dude up, and it was a
And
wrap.
you would have been in the finals.
No, I would have won.
That would have been
I would have been the final.
Final.
Yeah.
Right? So, anyway, when I go up against Jeff, before I go up against Jeff, it's over. I knew the French dude was going to eat Jeff up. He's going to eat him up because the French dude was doing incredible tricks with production. Jeff had just that funky New York shit, but this dude just had another level of. Remember, we had like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And we mixed and the tricks were we could only do so many tricks on that gear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's it. So the next day for that, the chalkboard we walk into the final and the chalkboard's wiped. We have to start over again. rebattle.
Why?
What the fuck?
Because they wanted to make sure it was me and Jeff.
Ah.
We're going to get to that. Mind you, me and Jeff battle. I get a perfect 10 on the panel. And Lady B from Philly Radio gives me a 2 or 1. So I lose to Jeff by 1 point.
Wow.
Because she was the radio girl and he was her DJ. Not to take anything away from the guy. He was incredibly creative and dope. He was like, yo, dude is dope. But it's just what I did was different compared to what they're used to.
Right.
And they weren't ready to see that happen straight through the whole 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Cutting an instrumental and flipping and not just getting a phrase and cutting it New York style, doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
And taking it and then doubling them 45 and then
Like
doing crazy bonus beats.
Remixing the song.
Remixing
basically.
all those songs in almost minute. He was like in shock. I think he even told me like, damn, you fucking killed it. LL stood up for me. Melly Mel was screaming in the crowd because LL was one of the judges. And LL said, you know, this is fucked up what y'all did. He said that on stage in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Melly Mel was like, boo, he was born. Everybody thought I was from New York the first day. When they found out they were going to lose everything to a dude from California, it was a wrap. It wasn't going to happen.
Wow.
It just was not going to happen because they had spent Newmark. Okay, so Techniques was sponsoring DJ Cheese. He was either Techniques, Newmark, whatever. We didn't have none of that, but
Well, I mean, but during those days, during the Uke seminar, to be in that battle, you had to be sponsored by some type of record company or
something, or you had to pay the money to get in it. So Tommy Boy got me there. Tommy Boy paid for me and Greg to go over there and represent Cali. Tommy Boy flew us out because I was killing Tommy Boy records, and they were good business people. They handled it. They had good working people that got us events when we needed something. They figured something out and got us a better deal. You know, they worked it. Tommy Boy at that time, they were working it. I'm going over there, and when they find out in New York that I'm not from New York, it was a wrap. It just wasn't going to crack. But because they saw me with Mel and Scorp. They saw me say, what's up to LL. I used to pick up LL at the airport to come do shows here when he was a kid and be in the van, sitting in the back, let Greg drive, while Sylvia was in the passenger seat talking shit. and LL going like this to me. Because he was a youngster and she was his responsibility at that moment. And me and LL sitting in the back of the van with the beanbags and he's telling me, fuck that bitch. Whatever, because I'm telling man, you should come to this other spot. She's like, man, I don't want nobody talking business with my artist. And Greg's driving. Right there, bitch, we'll drop you off right here. You know what I'm saying? We don't give a fuck. You did pillow talk or none of that shit.
You're talking about Sylvia Roan?
I believe so, yeah.
Or
Sylvia
Sylvia
Roan. So, I mean, that's where we're at. I'll tell you Leor Cohen's story.
Oh, shit.
So, Scholar Rock comes with, what's his rapper's name?
KRS One.
So, Scholar Rock and KRS One are at Roll on Wheels. First show they ever do in LA. Scott had just made, like, he had sent to all the DJs, he had drawn me a custom DJ thing that also he sent it out to the polls to everybody, but he drew me one, right? With his name on it and then my name on it. Because Scott used to tell me, man, you one of the dopest DJs. He told me this. You're one of the dopest DJs I ever seen. Get down. You sure you ain't from New York? I said, yeah, but I didn't, I just, man, so we hit it off. I'm going to play all your shit anyway because all your shit was fire. I'm the one that broke South Bronx.
Yeah,
of course.
We know.
And the bridge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Leo Cohen comes managing to do a show with LL, right? And then KRS and Scott, they're just kind of like the opener for LL.
Okay.
You know, for the World on Wheels thing. That's how they did it. They piggybacked to the next group. And Leo was just trying to call shot, man, don't pin. And I'm looking at this motherfucker. I said, man, this dude don't know he's going to get knocked the fuck out. Riot breaks out. That dude is shitting his pants.
Is this the night when LL got his chain taken?
No, that was another time.
That was, my bad. It wasn't that time.
All these legendary stories.
That was at the Olympic Auditorium. That was a different time. This is World on Wheels. And then LL, I had my boys, a couple of my Samoan boys, just jump in front of L, throw everybody back, and L was like, I'm good. He stayed there, because L wasn't no punk. He stayed there, signed autographs, took photos with the photographers. There was always a photographer at all the events. And, he did his thing and sold the Polaroids. L stayed, took pictures with while Leor's bitch ass was still talking shit, complaining, scared that he was going to get robbed. Inside Word on Wheels.
Wow.
But LL was cool. He looked at me, I looked at him. He's like, man, your boy's big as fuck. And he was like, I'm good. He stayed, bro. Took pictures with everybody. And the day he got his chain, they tried to snatch his chain at the Olympic Auditorium. That was a bad riot. People got really, really hurt. I only was able to get out because M-Walk stayed with me, right? And Ralph. Ralph helped me pack up my shit. Because all I had to do was take turntables to the concert this time. The sound system was rented. Then throw the crates on top of that. So imagine a coffin with 3 crates of records on top. And me and Ralph start to walk. And when we get back to the backstage, all gangbangers taking pictures with all artists. Hey. I see this big dude holding on to L like this and him posing, the homeboy throwing upset. And people think, I'm like, I felt so bad. I'm like, oh, wow. I get to the back door. Everybody had blocked the driveway so nobody can get out. They were going to rob it. It was cracking. A couple thousand people there. Humongous riot.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm with M-Walk, and it was Bees that were closing it and walk new people from the Bees. Hey, move your shit out the way. Oh, that's blah, blah, blah's little brother. I was able to get the car out the way and get the fuck out of there.
Wow.
Only because of him.
Because of M-Walk.
And I was worried about LL. In that motherfucker, Curtis Blow was like this. He was white. He was just sitting there.
Jesus. That's right. Yeah. Thanks.
Fat Five
So
Freddy.
awkward.
That was a moment for me because that was the first time I really fucked with them. Fat Five Freddy was watching me DJ. Him and Melly. That was the first time they were here.
Okay.
And he gave me I asked him to sign my flyer, and he put me to the king of the fuzzy scratch because he didn't even know what I was
They
just
didn't know
doing
what to
that.
call it, yeah.
King of the fuzzy scratch, Fat Five Freddy. Man, you're dope. After that, I seen Fred. They were fucking with us. What's his name? The guys who used to have the hip hop show in New York. The chubby dude and the other doofus.
Oh, Ed Lover and Dr. Dre.
Yeah, two cornballs, hip hop cornballs, fucking corny cornballs. They were fucking goofies. So I'm with Young MC in New York on New Year's Eve, doing New Year's Eve shows. Of course, 2 days before the New Year's Eve. So I'm in Harlem doing the Harlem place where everybody, the comedy and all the shows were. The most famous place in Harlem.
Apollo.
Sure. So we're at the Apollo. We about to go on. We're about to go on stage, and what's his name? The two doofuses, Ed Lover and the other,
Dr. Dre. Yeah.
over there talking shit about Young MC and clowning. Look at this bullshit. And then all I remember is Scorpio saying, "Hey man, why don't you shut up?" He tells not the tall Ed Lover, the other one.
Dr. Dre.
Tell Dr. Dre, "Hey man, why don't you shut up, man?" "Oh man, we just fucking clowning." Ed Lover's, "Well, we were clowning." Melly Mug, and then Melly Mel says, "No, that ain't cool, man. This is your people.
Yeah.
These are just good people." Because they knew us. We were giving them, they coming to LA, man.
Right.
Yeah.
And Fat Five Freddy said, "Man, you guys are fucking little bitches." And Melly tells me, "Hey man, fuck these dudes. These dudes are fucking weenies anyway.
Wow.
Nobody give a fuck about these fucking goofies." He didn't say that exact word.
Right.
But cornballs.
Yeah.
When I heard that from that dude, I don't give a fuck what TV made you out to be.
Yeah.
Because you're talking to the real hip hop,
Yeah.
the real dudes, and they raised their hand for us
That's dope.
right there.
Melly Mel, Scorpio of the Furious Five,
And
Fab
Fab
Five
Five
Freddy.
Come on, man.
Straight up.
Come on.
And
man.
Melly and
As they
Scorpio
should've, as they
checked them
should've.
dudes. Because Scorpio used to wear dark glasses anyway. He was always pimped the fuck out.
Yeah.
Melly was always pimped out.
Fuck you
Fat
up.
Five Freddy said, fuck these dudes. Melly Mel told me, hey, man, pay attention. Scorpio was about to slap the fuck out of Dre.
Wow.
And Love was like, man, what are you, scared.
Yeah.
He realized he fucked up.
Yeah.
He didn't expect that from
The OGs.
the OGs.
Yeah.
And they checked his ass. Because we always treated every artist that came from the East Coast over here with the utmost respect.
But then you go over there and they're trying to clown, and then the cats that have respect for you, they're looking at you. They're
It
looking
was
at those
foul.
dudes like, yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
Come on, man. Houdini. I'd see them walking into the club, tell you what's up, give you a hug. Man, fam, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Those are the true motherfuckers from the East Coast. LL, right away, he see you stopping in the middle everywhere, give you a hug.
Yeah.
I seen Will we're going into a concert to play, and he's coming out. He had just done his set, one of those big summer jams. He stopped everything, turned around and told me, Tony G, the mixologist, just give me a hug. That's class.
Yeah. It's respect.
Because they're dope.
Yeah.
The only
It's
time you clown somebody is because you suck balls.
It's also a reflection of like, what you personally did for cats, man. The impact you were having here, like,
Of course.
and the biggest thing from us talking, I love Tony is like I obviously knew this, but I didn't really realize how much you just helped cats in the scene, man. Like you hear all these names, and I didn't even know you had connections with certain cats and relationships, and
Because I was stuck in the room learning some shit, and people knew they had to come see me. Because I very seldom,
No, but you
know what I mean? Unless it was a Hold'em tournament or some shit, then I was there. But otherwise than that,
no, but but it somehow inadvertently, in a way, it blows me away, like how much you were doing what we're doing now, but like 20 years ago, you were teaching DJ classes.
yeah.
You were on the
Our one
road. You were
big-ass
touring.
VHS camera looked like Channel 5 and shit.
Yeah. No, you've done everything we've done, man. You've been on the radio. You make mixtapes. You make beats. You went on tour with rap groups. You were working in radio.
When we did Westside Radio streaming, we were averaging 50,000 to 100,000 people live a night on Be Real TV.
way ahead
That's
of
the
the
most
game.
viewers they've ever seen in their life.
Yeah.
The owner of Stickcam came to our studio, went into the back room when I was about to start the show, the side bus on Be Real TV, poor guy, to tell us, man, do your own show. Because they couldn't figure out how we had 5 cameras hooked up all over the fucking place when you could only really do 1 at that time. We were always ahead of what we want to do because we cared.
Yeah.
And when we didn't know, we asked.
Yeah.
Ask somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Man, how do you get this? How do you get that?
Yeah.
Ask somebody. We had 5 and switching cameras and everything, bro, live on the radio.
Would you say you were using that same compulsiveness that you applied
Always.
as a drummer and as a DJ?
Always.
All the way up to streaming in 2018,
My
19
life was
now?
nothing but music and anything that had to do with music, and that's all I cared about. I listened to music. I memorized every parts of guitar solos from Jimi Hendrix. Machine Gun, one of the greatest songs he ever played. And I can tell you, I think he scratched his face in between his note. His finger slipped here because I heard it 1,500 times maybe.
Right.
1,200 times, 600 times. You don't know something, and you don't really know shit until you've read it and heard it a few
real.
100 times.
Yeah.
Three's good for the local memory shit. You know what I'm saying? But when you
Right.
want to go to the real deal,
When you want to retain it. Yeah.
you got to go up. If you're interested in it,
Yeah.
you can retain a lot. But if you want to really know what you're doing, you have to spend a lot of time on something.
Yeah.
For sure.
A lot of time.
That's it.
That
And
is the
practice
truth.
hours and hours and hours and hours. That's just what it takes. And for the
Being
parents, if you're trying to get your kid to play baseball, and you're gonna take him to this camp for baseball, he's gonna go to this training camp. He's got this coach is gonna tell him, when you get home and you wake up, if your kid's not in the backyard throwing a ball, or if your kid doesn't have a new glove he's looking for, or running, or jumping over fences, or have the bat at the batting cage with every dollar he has, it's not. Don't force him,
Yeah. It's not for him.
because if you really like something,
You'll know.
Yeah.
you'll know. You'll see it.
You'll know.
Yeah. Yeah. We both, myself and Babs, have both have sons, of course, as you know, and we both have seen that with our kids. You know what I'm saying? We never forced music onto them.
I never forced it on my children.
That's just something they gravitated to.
My son DJs still. He got steady gigs for years.
Yeah.
I never had a steady gig about radio. But he's got steady gig, and that's what he likes to do. He don't give a fuck about nothing else. Get my paper, go in there, play all the different music, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
Play all the different, whatever he plays, Arabic music, Spanish music, hip hop.
Play
dance,
all of it. Yeah.
Who cares? But it's a steady gig, and he likes it. And then he has a regular 9-to-5.
Yeah.
He does that on the weekends. He's double shifting. He can give a fuck about you scratching like this. He does tricks. He doesn't hardly ever show it to nobody, but he does it.
Yeah.
Because it's not interested in. He just likes to do it. He's making his own beats. He has his own boys that he raps, and that's him.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got everything you need. Ableton, Logic. I mean, I do it all. So I spent years on the window, mastered it,
No, that's a beautiful thing too. Like to be able to do things like this as just from a pure love standpoint, just doing it because you enjoy it versus putting the weight of your life on it.
If I could rap, dog, I wouldn't have no friends. Because I'd made my own motherfucking records and keep all the money.
Yeah.
I can't rap. I can't sing. I sing backgrounds in my band because I can play and sing. So I'm an asset. You have to be an asset. You have to be able to do multiple things if you want to become an asset. If not, you're just part of the fucking program. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I can play and sing and stuff and direct and learn shit really, really fast.
Man.
That's about it. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I do.
We just dropped a bag of gems on all y'all out there that's peeping us right now. You know what I'm saying? Good God.
Man, we had no break and we still talking. That was good.
You know what,
One of
Tony?
you guys, they've been asking me the whole time, how's your time, Tone? That's the first thing.
Yeah.
How's your time today? Then Chalk after, hey, how's your time? And then Bad Boy, hey, how's your time looking?
Well, that's because I was the one who was late today, so I felt like everyone was waiting on me. But
it wasn't that late.
But you know what? I think we're gonna have to like continue this. And,
Sure.
and
A part two soon,
appreciate it.
Tony.
And dude, Tony, we can't thank you enough, man.
Poor guy's gonna have to edit his ass off. I seen him snapping claps over there and all kind of shit.
I mean, part
He's
two,
like,
I know.
"Fuck
Part
this."
two, I know that Melody and J Rock will want to be on this too as well because I know Jay has a lot of questions.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Man, he's a technical dude, and Melody is just, I like to watch him play.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just enjoy when you guys do
Ridiculous.
stuff. I want to have a party, have you guys DJ.
Come on,
Because
man.
that would be the party for us. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't nothing but a word,
Come on,
Tony. You let us know when you need us, and we're
Anytime, man. That would be
there.
And
amazing.
remember, there ain't no dope DJs. Anybody that's dope is because they heard somebody that heard us.
Yeah.
And that's it. Period.
That man right there.
Period. Whether it's club, dance, house, disco, I don't give a fuck. You got all that. And everything you do on radio today is because
DJs.
we did it.
That's right.
And it came from us and our surrounding circle.
Man.
And God bless whatever you did and whatever you're doing now. That's a beautiful thing. But I bet you it's all in there is our stank.
For sure.
And it's funky.
For sure. Even if y'all don't know, now you know.
Now you know. You've been educated, world. All right?
Period.
Understand what it is.
In the world.
Make some noise out there for Tony G. Y'all.
Yes.
That was so dope.
The amazing Tony G.
Appreciate it.
Building better DJs.
Thank you, Tony, for being here, man. We're super honored. But y'all, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to wherever you listen to podcasts. Watch them. Building better DJs. Remember, beatjunkies.com for our record pool, beatjunkies.tv for our online school, beatjunkiesound.com for our school here in Glendale, the Beat
Yes.
Junkies
Awesome.
Sound.
Beautiful place, man.
But all praises due the one and only Tony G.
Tony G.
Mixmasters.
The legendary, the man, father of our
That's
style.
our father right there, man.
Yes,
Tony.
he is.
Appreciate it.
Love you, Tony.
You guys looking
Yeah, man.
out, man.
Much respect, Tony. Love you, Tony.
Gas.
Building better DJs. See you next time.
Peace.